Well, hello there, Horties. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you currently. Or if you're Australian, I guess it's like 5 a.m. So, I mean, it's still good morning, but whew, yikes. Imagine getting up at 5 a.m. to watch a Luxander stream. That would be insane. Beanie, yes. Hello, Gayfesh. Hello, Mama Mephistopheles. There's Jelly Bee, Willow Oak, Andy's Mints. Hello, with Otro. Slaps Hungry Bears had the dono before we even started. Thank you so much for the gifted tier 1 sub. We appreciate it so much. Hello, Shade. I saw Mersh in here earlier. Halfling Rogue, of course. And the folks over in the YouTube chat as well. Soy Boy, we got Ivy Stewart, Phelan. Speedy Shimeji says, Step 9, baby! Yup. What's up, Phoebe? Hello. Pumpkin sweater. Yeah, listen, it's the... You know, in the springtime in the Midwest, it has a tendency to fluctuate, the temperature does. And it can be kind of difficult to predict when you're going to need your heating on versus when you're going to need your air conditioning on. You know, like sometimes for a couple of days, it's like in the 70s and 80s Fahrenheit, and then suddenly it drops back down. So like you turn on your air conditioning because your house is getting kind of warm, and then it just like goes back to being 40 degrees and you're like, So yeah, the title of the stream is quite doomer, but as usual, we have to vibe first. We have to chill. We have to grill. What's up, Penrose, Kansan Capybara? Hello. We're going to be, easing into things as usual. We got a few different things that are newsy that we can talk about. One of them, the Florida death penalty thing that's probably going to be like a segment for El Channel O. But we are going to be talking about some other stuff a little bit more casually. Switch to the computer. What is up, Shade? Yes. The sweater is super cute. Yeah, it's really, really old Mr. Atheist merch. He's just Jimmy Snow now. It used to be Mr. Atheist, but yeah, this is really old Jimmy Snow merch. Oh, my hair is in the way. Pumpkin Posse. Has something to do with gayness and pumpkins. I can't really remember the details. I know the lore, but I cannot remember any of the details at this point. It's just like, this is not what I would have chosen, but we're friends, and so he sent this to me for free. And I'm like, all right, I have a sweater representing my friend now. And I have another shirt that he sent me that I just don't really wear on stream. Oh my gosh, Phelan says, we're getting 3 to 5 inches of snow in my part of Illinois today. I saw some people on like social medias talking about, posting memes about like April and snow and like, expecting it to be springtime, but it's not. And I didn't know what that was about because it's been chilly here again, but it's not like below freezing, It's snowing in Minnesota after it was like 80 degrees 4 days in a row. Okay, so I guess I'm just further south of you guys, and I'm not getting as much of the cold. Some Christian pastor who was talking about him but didn't want to give him the name recognition, so he called him Mr. Pumpkin. Ah, okay, yes, that makes sense. Getting in what is effectively a Twitter beef with a pastor who then talks about you to his congregation. So cringe. 47 concurrent viewers. What is up, everybody? Hit like, even if you don't stick around, because what we're doing at the beginning of the stream is we always kind of just like vibe for a while. I usually stream for 3 or 4 hours, so we vibe for like an hour and then we'll start into the news. But so even if you're not going to stick around for that hangout, even if you're like, oh, I'm going to come back in an hour, drop your likes before you go somewhere. It's free. It helps the stream. This is my job. I owe taxes from last year. If I was a pastor, I would totally be telling the congregation about my Twitter beefs too. I'm too online. I mean, I think that it would be the perfect opportunity to do that thing that the cyclical thing that Christianity does, where they teach you to be annoying, and then you go out and you be annoying, and so then the people that you're trying to proselytize to, reject you, and then you can come back into the embracing arms of the church, and it's like a reinforcement thing, Libertarian Lux arc. Uh-oh. So yeah, the internet would be a good, everybody got mad at me on Twitter, therefore I was correct. Hypers. I don't know what we're doing hypers for. It was in the 70s to 80s for a week, and then, oh, hey, have some rain in the morning and snow in the evening. I'm hoping that we get more rain. I really do. We got a little bit of rain recently, and I want there to be way more of it. Liked the stream. Yes. Good to like the stream. We're doing so good. It's the beginning. It's like we're barely into this one. And we already got a bunch of folks in here hanging out. Stream keeps getting lagged. Yeah, that may be because of it being fucking windy. Like if the connection is super terrible, then I might have to see if I can adjust things on my end. But I don't really know that I can do much in the way of adjusting things. I'm glad for the rain with the fire weather warnings. Yeah, it's not very often that you get a fire weather warning in the Midwest. And I think that there might have been one recently. It's crazy that we're halfway through April and we still get like high 30s in Seattle. Trying to grow an herb garden, and the basil, which grows like a weed, is struggling right now. Yeah, I think we were talking about this recently because, you know, I've noticed that there's sort of a delay on springtime. Like, it's been getting warmer, but it has taken the trees a long time to start growing their leaves and stuff like that. It just seems like the spring is really late this year. But it makes sense when, like, that the plants are adapting and, you know, they are kind of doing their own delay system internally. Like, the ones that are perennial, at least, are kind of making this adjustment to, yeah, like, winter is just longer now, basically. And it sucks. Because I mean, like, as a person from Kansas, I'm usually hoping for the spring green to start coming in, you know, in, like, late March. But it's, like, you know, mid-April, and we're kind of just now starting to see some springtime coming in. So, yeah, I mean, y'all ever feel like the climate's changing? Just a little. Thankfully, it isn't too cold here in Kansas. I planted my garden the other day, and the cantaloupe would not like frost. Yeah, is it supposed to be, like, I think that we might be past the point of it getting freezing, but it is still, like fluctuating in temperature a lot, which is pretty obnoxious. It's supposed to drop to 30 on Wednesday over here in Ohio, but it was supposed to be thunderstorms yesterday and today and 34 tomorrow, but global warming makes people wrong, like, all the time. I guess if you live in an area where your weather is affected by multiple different things, like typically across the lower Midwest, like the Great Plains, it's pretty easy to kind of predict your weather on account of it kind of all comes from the same direction. I don't have an outdoor garden because I don't have, you know, the ground to do that in. Like, I'm not allowed to do that at the place that I'm renting. And the last time I tried to put plants, like, outside, a lot of them got destroyed by squirrels. So I am not doing an outdoor garden this year. But that also means that I can't grow a lot of stuff. Like, you have an herb garden. Like, I cannot grow herbs because they require a lot of light. And I just don't have the ability to put them underneath direct sunlight all day, you know? You need a sunroom. You need a whole room made of glass. Just an entire room made of glass attached to the side of your house. Lots of jobs in meteorology going to open up over the next decades. Yeah, the squirrel, yeah. So one time I bought a cherry tomato plant, and I bought it and it was like this tall, and you're supposed to strip off all of the branches from the lower, like, third of the plant and bury all of that with the roots so that it develops more roots and has, like, a stronger root system underneath there. And so I did that. And so I had this little, like, 6-inch tall cherry tomato plant, and these squirrels literally ate the green of the plant. Like, it literally did not have time to grow enough to produce fruit. They just ate the plant. And they would dig in my other plants. My string of buttons is doing well, and it's surprising that it didn't die because they dug it up repeatedly. And this is, like, at a couple of different places that I've lived. I've tried to have my plants outside, and it just does not function with the squirrels. Oh, squirrels dug up my iris and tulip bulbs. Oh, sea tangent. I feel for you. That's so frustrating. It's like effort that you put into it, and it's money that you put into it, you know? Like, damn, get the fuck out of here, squirrels. Like, that's when you offer tributes in hopes that they ignore your plants. It says breeze and ski. Welcome to the website. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. If you're over in the YouTube, first of all, don't forget to click like on the video. Second of all, if you're on desktop especially, join us at the top link in the description for the website chat, which is over here. This is not Twitch. This is my website. So yeah, I guess the thing is you need to offer the squirrels something more pleasant. Otherwise, you just have to cage it all in with chicken wire. And I just, you know, if part of the point of having plants in your area is because you want them to be aesthetically pleasing, because it has a psychological benefit. Being around plants, like looking at plants, the color green, these things do have a psychological impact on you. And then also, you know, the pretty colors and them smelling good and stuff, like it just takes so much away from it if you have to enclose the whole thing in chicken wire. People are not into this conversation. We have lost like 15 plus viewers. People are not into this. You need to get a scare squirrel, maybe, or like an owl thing that can just move its head a little bit. That would be cool. My computer is kind of old now. Yo, I was hoping that I would get, I was like thinking maybe we would get a little bit of a refund on our taxes this year, and maybe I would be able to start kind of replacing the parts of my computer that are definitely going to be needing to be replaced soon, because this computer was built in like 2019. You know, it's going to need some improvements soon. And no, I am going to owe like $2,000 in taxes. So if you are getting a tax return, please share the love and give me a dono, please, because I am trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay this money back. I'm like, is this another fucking GoFundMe discussion that I have to have with myself? Like, that's pretty annoying to have to run like several GoFundMes in a year's time. Outdoor cats are terrorists. That is very true, Julie Kira. Outdoor cats are, they kill a lot of birds, is the problem, you know? Those were bad viewers anyway. I like the garden discussion. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a holistic approach to your content, you know? Sometimes you're going to talk about global warming, and sometimes you're going to talk about gardening as like a thing that you do because you enjoy it. If you're just coming in, because I see some folks just came in, hit the like button. Even if you're not here to hang out and enjoy the discussion, because we're going to be getting into the actual heavy politics here in about 45 minutes. Even if you don't stick around, click like before you leave. It's free. It's good. My tax bill is the same as yours, Lux, $2,000. I've cut back on everything to save up for it. We'll pay the first half of it in June. Next part is due in October. That's so... It's fucking crazy to me. Like, I understand why my taxes are so high this year, right? Like, my taxes are really high this year because I didn't pay any tax last year at all, like, while I was self-employed. So I knew that I was going to owe to some extent. But if it weren't for the fact that taxes are like twice as expensive for a self-employed person, since your employer is supposed to pay half of your Social Security and Medicare tax, like, taxes are just a lot higher than you think they are. You're just lucky that your employer happens to be required to pay for some of them. And then, yeah, so I'm pretty annoyed. I'm pretty frustrated. And it's weird because my income is super low, and because of that, I owe like a really high proportion of my taxes. Like, the more money I make as a self-employed person, like, the less my tax rate is as a percentage. According to like I was just fucking around with one of those like on TurboTax or whatever, like, hey, if my income is this and I'm self-employed, like, just with no other details on it, like, what is, and it was just about correct on after I had actually like submitted my proper taxes through my actual tax filing thing. TurboTax was pretty close in its guesstimate of what I would owe based on just my income. And then I was like fucking with it, and I was like, okay, so if this year I made about $15,000, that's about what I made last year as a streamer. It's not like I'm rolling in it, you know. I was like, okay, well, if I made 20,000, and it was showing me like what is the functional percentage tax rate, and it actually, my functional percentage tax rate gets lower the higher my income is. So what's up, Jimmy Nails? Hello. I've looked into it. It's my belief that small businesses at a certain point shouldn't have to pay taxes, and then after they do, it should be based on a graduated scale of per capita employees. Right. Like if I'm self-employed and I'm the only person working for me, like I feel like I should owe very little taxes. I think it's by design. You are incentivized to be an employee and thus subjugated. If you try to be your own employer, then that is competition and you must be kept down. It's part of the wall between the rich and the poor. I think that is probably accurate. And I mean, and it feels especially bad to me as a disabled person because I tried to be a wage worker for like 10 years and I destroyed my health and I made things worse for myself. It like damaged my marriage in some ways. Willow Oak, thank you so much for the $10 dono, sharing some of my tax return. I appreciate it. It's so, yeah, thank you. I really, $10 makes it 15 for the day so far. That's amazing. I can do math. I'm so good at math. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's I was trying really hard to be a wage worker, and I just have like several relatively mild disabilities, which if you stack them all together kind of comes out to one, you know, sort of impactful disability on my life. And the kind of accommodations that I would need in order to work are apparently too much. Like, and the system says that it should be illegal to discriminate against me as a disabled person, but like they can be like, you know, if you're unable to do the work, if they require you, like it's like when an office job, have you ever seen this? Have you ever been looking for a job and you're looking at like an office thing, like a data entry or like answering phones or something like that. And you see in the requirements, it has like, must be able to lift 25 pounds. And you're like, why would I be required to lift 25 pounds if I'm sitting at a desk in a call center? The answer is so they can weed out disabled employees. So like the system is saying, well, we want you to have a job. And it's supposed to be illegal to discriminate against you for being disabled, but functionally it is totally legal to discriminate against you for being disabled because, you know, most people can't afford to sue for that. So I tried really hard to be a good employee, and I was a good employee. I just needed disability accommodations, and nobody wanted to provide them. And then I became successful as a self-employed person. Like I'm relatively, like $15,000 as a streamer last year is not terrible. And it's going to gradually increase as the audience continues to increase. Like it's probably going to keep going up, hopefully at least. But like, I feel like I did a successful, you know, I'm still being economically productive and, you know, I'm still paying my rent and I'm still buying things out in the world. And I'm being like punished by being required to owe a bunch. Oh, and here's the other thing about it too. It's like I could have accepted that I'm disabled and then applied for disability and be a drain on society, quote unquote, by being like a dependent, you know? But I didn't do that. I decided to work for myself and be economically productive and put my skills to a positive use. And I'm being punished for that on top of everything else by being like required to pay a fuck ton in taxes. Like I just want here, if like, let me just do a calculator real quick because I haven't actually figured out the actual percentage. If I made, let's see. So I owe 13% of my income in taxes from last year. I made $15,000 and I owe $2,000 in taxes. So the government wants 13% of my income for the entire year, which is like pretty absurd for someone who only made $15,000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 000. 0 Every job I've ever had, even office jobs, required you to be able to lift 50 pounds. Yeah, it's just that they want to discriminate against disabled people legally, and that's how they do it. Because that's a reasonable expectation, quote unquote. Last year, as an independent contractor at the family business, I got a $5 tax return from the state of Kansas, and because it was a small sum, they decided to give me no tax return that year. I was mostly just surprised not to owe. Yeah, we try to do stuff in, like when we file our state taxes, we try to pay more throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, we still end up owing taxes every year, and it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But yeah, it's funny that like they decided like, oh, we only owe you $5, therefore we're just gonna go ahead and keep that. Whereas I owed taxes in Missouri, that I owed $11 in taxes, and I got like multiple letters in the mail. Like they may have spent more on like paper and ink and printer maintenance and the postage, trying to collect their $11 than they actually got from me. You know, like that. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's like the whole juror selection questions. They want to find any reason to cut you from the benches. I've never served on jury duty before. I was asked one time, or I was put on notice that I might be asked to, and I was annoyed because I had already had my name changed for like 3 years at that point, and because the DMV is stupid about updating their shit, they sent me the jury summons under my old name, and I had to email them and be like, I'm not going to honor a jury summons to a person that doesn't exist. And then they were like, okay, well, we're just going to send you another letter addressed to the correct name and then not end up calling you in for jury duty. Like, fucking, all right, whatever. I've got friends who don't work full-time because they lose their food stamps and end it with less money while working twice as hard. Right, so yeah, if my income goes up too much, then I will lose my food stamps, and then the $200 a month that I'm saving by not buying groceries with my own money right now, like suddenly I'm like, my functional income is like $200 less if I make like $50, like I don't know what the actual amount is, like let's say, because I was pretty close to the cutoff last year. Shade, thank you so much for the tier 4 sub. Oh, you're purple now. Yes. Ooh, we love purple. I said Thursday we'd help. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very seriously, very much. I appreciate it. I don't want to bitch about taxes all day. It's just that this is like, I'm filing them right now and it's on my mind. I don't want to bitch about taxes all day. It just is really fucked. And I don't know if people realize, I don't know how much other streamers talk about this, like the extent to which you get really fucked over by self-employment taxes, you know? I've qualified for food stamps for over a year and they just don't look at my application. I feel like you're gonna have to call or something and get that, you know, started. I did mine 2 days ago. Yeah, I did a lot of the like fucking around figuring out how much we would owe, like filing together versus filing separate. Because my partner and I don't keep our finances together. Obviously we don't live together, so we are not like sharing money. But so I'm like trying to figure out what's the best way for us to file our taxes. And I fucked with it like literally my entire workday on Wednesday. And then, yeah, I'm just like trying to figure it out from this point. I'll go back in and like type everything in again after having like shuffled it around a bunch. And I'll actually submit them like tomorrow probably. Halfling Rogue, thank you so much. 2 gifted tier 1 subs. I appreciate it. Said, I can't give much money right now, but here's something. Keep being awesome. Tax the rich. Thank you. A and B, true. Tax the rich. Amazing. Yeah, it's crazy. Like someone in the YouTube chat mentioned it a second ago. It's wild how the rich basically pay nothing. And then Anthony adds, I work 4 hours a day for 3 days a week, and I already lost my food stamps. I call lots. It always goes to voicemail, and they don't call back. Ugh. I had to basically call as soon as like I woke up, like and as soon as they were available to start taking phone calls. Okay, I gotta update this thingy. Ooh, 65. We are very close to the nice number. We're so close. And then once we hit the nice number, I'm gonna increase the goal and actually give you a reward for that one, I guess. We'll get to 69 and that'll just be like nice, and then I'll bump it up, and like if we do hit that goal, then I will take off my sweater and I'll flex for you. That's the new thing that I'm gonna do as a reward for subs, or yeah, for donations. Hey, there we go. Yes. A tier 1 sub gifted from Slaps Hungry Bears. Thank you. Nice. +1. Yeah. Nice. We blasted past it. We'll leave it there for a minute. Dark Canuck says, I volunteer at our local food bank at a church, and it's picking up more clients every month, but it's not government. Yeah, the Lux stream's getting thirsty. It's true. Yeah. I am selling my body. That's what they say? I'm selling my body by showing it off for monies. But yeah, all of the other stuff is gonna be kicking up more. Like the volunteer services are gonna be, there's gonna be more demand on those. It really sucks that one of the things, wow, 74 concurrent viewers. Hit like on the stream if you're hanging out and you're enjoying it. We appreciate you lurking or hanging out in chat, whatever. Come to my website, luxander.net. This is where the chat is. It's like Vash's website. Sick and awesome and cool. Anyway, yeah, weren't you already because you were streaming? I know, that's the joke. I'm selling my body, whatever the labor is that I'm doing. But it sucks as an adult, and I'm realizing that, like, everything is always gonna suck, I'm pretty sure. We can make things cool on an interpersonal level, potentially. We can be like, yeah, we're gonna try to create communities and increase mutual aid, and we're gonna try to, like, I don't know, like, we're doing things like helping people move across state lines and helping people access medication and stuff. And, like, we can continue to share those resources together. But realistically, like, taxes are always going to suck balls. They're always going to be too high, and they're always going to go to the fucking military. Like, I was talking on stream the other day about how it was a strange thing for me being a child and seeing these adults who are like me now spouting out against the government and stuff in, like, a leftist way. And, like, George Carlin, and he's dead now, and it was like that for his entire life, and it's gonna be like that for our entire lives, and then we're gonna die, and the young people that we're trying to take care of now are gonna be in an even worse situation. And it's like, is this the black pill? Is this when I'm like really not sure if anything is ever gonna get better? And, like, I don't know if and, like, part of the reason why I don't know if it's ever going to get better is because I don't think that we collectively are going to be able to, like, pull together and, like, overthrow the system in the way that it needs to be overthrown. Sometimes being yourself for a change makes interpersonal stuff way better. This community has been so amazing, and we just need to keep taking care of each other and fuck the haters. Yeah, don't fuck the haters, though. Don't do that. The pendulum swings. It will swing the other way in the next few decades. I mean, it's like a lot of time, and it's a lot of people who are going to die in between here and then. Like, I was, I saw someone on Twitter this morning, being an absolute fucking idiot about the AIDS crisis. And, that's not directly what it was about, but functionally that's what it was about. Laura Powell talking about, if the massive increase in LGBTQ identification in recent years is a result of increased acceptance, why aren't we seeing large numbers of Gen X and older coming out of the closet? And it's like, lady. If you don't know what this is the gigantic quilt made up of a bunch of individual quilts, and each one of these is, like, made by or for a person who died from AIDS. So, like, it's huge. That's like the big strip of land outside the White House, This is why there aren't that many boomer and Gen X gay people. Because they got genocided by a government who didn't care that they were dying. So, like, this is the issue that I'm running into right now. is I'm like seeing how nothing is really better than it was before, and like the amount of time that we're taking to get to the end of this, like the natural collapse of Republican governments, like republics, not to say the Republicans, the red people versus the blue people, but like republic governments that are like a representative democracy like this, like they don't really last very long in like the capitalist framework, like the way that power tends to concentrate, you know? Loathe the idea that there's a, quote, correct number of people who are LGBT. Well, the argument that they're trying to make in here is that this is a social contagion that is affecting young people because they are easily influenced by others. Like, that's the argument that's being made. Like, this data is being represented as an argument in favor of the idea that young people should be prevented from making decisions about their lives at younger ages because they're, like, just being socially influenced to be like that. So, yeah, that's what the data is being represented to mean. But what the data actually shows is, like, that we had a mass death event in our community. Like, I don't know if you can understand, because of how, like, low quality this picture is, like, how many quilts there are there. And each one represents a dead person. Literally, every one of them. Some of them might be folks who, like, had yet to die. They had made their quilt and they were on their deathbed. But now they are definitely dead. So. Yeah, Ronald Reagan. Exactly. Crying right now? Yeah, sorry, Ivy. If you did not know about this, like, I think I've been on the verge of black pill for a while, TBH. You know, it's like, I don't think that the correct response to the black pill is to give up. Like, I know there's the lie down and rot thing. I don't think that that's the correct response to the black pill. But I do think that it might be important to radically accept that things are probably not going to get better. My perspective differs. I think things are getting better, but even if progress is happening, the challenges are still very large and alarming, so the progress can be hard to see. So this is one of the political things that I wanted to talk about that's not going to make it into a segment. But I did want to talk about, and, you know, if Cans and Capybara is still here, maybe some of you even have heard of this already, but in Kansas City, Missouri, you know, the addresses in Kansas City, Missouri are all really fucky. There's a lot of terraces and street and road, and, like, sometimes it'll be, like, you know, the same number street, but it's, like, if you go down this way, you could get to the terrace. If you go this way, you could get to the street, and it's really easy to get confuzzled about which way you're going, right? So, in Kansas City, Missouri, a 16-year-old boy who had recently started to learn how to drive went to he was supposed to be picking up his siblings from where they were being minded. They were being babysat on Northeast 115th Terrace. But he made a mistake and went to Northeast 115th Street. When he went up to the house and knocked on the door, the person inside shot him through the glass door, and then shot him again when he was on the ground, like shot him in the head to ensure that the child was dead. And miraculously, he is alive. The teenager, whose name I cannot recall right this second. I was just reading about this earlier. Where? Did it show his name in here? Did it say? I would understand if it didn't have his name in here because he is a minor. I'm going to see if I can find the thing that I was reading about it earlier. Anyway, so, like, he's in critical condition, but he's alive, and he's in the hospital. And so here's what happened to the guy who shot him. They took him in to get his statement, and then they sent him home. This person who just shot a teenager in the face for simply knocking on his door got sent home. Let me see if I can find... Okay, yeah. His name is Ralph Jarl. That's this young man's name. Or is it Earl? No, yeah, Ralph Jarl. What's the story? Come on, bring it to me. I guess the mainstream news hasn't picked this up yet, because I'm mostly seeing social media posts about it. But, yeah, so I'm not going to share this because it's on my Facebook. Like, I'm not going to screen share it with you. But, yeah, so police say Ralph was picking up his siblings at a house on Northeast 115th Terrace, mistakenly went to the house on Northeast 115th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. White homeowner shot Ralph once through the glass front door and then shot him in the head like, after he was shot and down on the ground, like, shot him in the head. And yeah, it basically seems as though they took in the shooter and let him go. And they didn't seem to, like, search the home to collect any evidence, like the gun. As far as I know, they haven't sought any, like, camera footage from the neighborhood. You know, the police really haven't issued much of a statement on this yet. So that's just, like, what I mean. Sunflowers for the $10 dono. Thank you so much. We appreciate the lurkers, and we appreciate the tips. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this is now 80. And now, I don't know. Let's just keep with the memes. Let's keep with the memes. We increased the, the goal to 420. 69, 420, lel. And if we get to 420, then I'm going to raise it to 666. I don't really think we're going to make it to 420 because it seems like a lot of people owe taxes this time of year. Fuck, this situation is not good. Yeah, this clearly cannot be a stand your ground situation. But, like, it's not that nothing will get better, but that the situation is more precarious. Like, there are very high chances that a bad outcome or a very good outcome will occur in society, like teeter-tottering on a knife's edge. I would really love to see what it is that makes anyone think that we are teetering on a knife's edge toward a good outcome. Like, I feel pretty strongly, given all of the evidence that I've seen over the last year, that we are just barreling toward a fascist takeover, and potentially a civil war. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I want to be clear that I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, it's the trajectory that we are on. Anytime someone kills someone, there should be a mandatory court hearing. I feel like there should at least be a mandatory, like, you need to be held on bail. Like, if there's gonna be, like, I understand the idea of, like, being assumed innocent, but also, like, if someone is in critical condition in the hospital because you shot them, like, I feel like you should maybe have your gun taken away temporarily at the very fucking minimum. Like, I understand that there's issues with cash bail, but, you know, if you have caused damage to someone quite recently, we should at least, like, maybe hold you until we figure out that there wasn't, like, a clear you were fucking wrong, which was the case in this situation. It sounds like they just don't plan to charge him, or did he have a bail hearing? I mean, there's not very much details about this case yet. Like, the police... This from Fox 4 says police believe it was a case of mistaken identity. So they just took him in and took his statement and then let him go home. I agree with Vosh in that it seems like the right is overreaching with the utter hatred and vitriol and genocidal rhetoric, and it could backfire on them. Thank you, Shade, so much for the $14 dono. Need some Lux flexing after this. Would totally help my vibe. Pitch in, everyone. Yeah, if we get to the absurd amount of $420 for the whole stream, I will flex for everybody. I'm wearing a white tank top, so I might need to change out of the white tank top before I do that. But yeah, thank you for the dono. Thank you. It's this one over here. Yes. 94. What an excellent number. 94. What was I just reading that I was about to launch into something? I will agree with Vashin that it seems like the right is overreaching with their utter hatred and vitriol and genocidal rhetoric, and it could backfire on them. My thing about that is that I think that there are probably a percentage-wise, there are probably more psycho right-wingers who think that we are sex offenders. Like, I think that they are more likely to have guns. And then, like, people who kind of generally think that trans rights are a good thing, but that there are legitimate questions about sports and bathrooms. Like, those people are not passionate enough about protecting us to, like, take up arms to protect us. The overreach is not about a risk for them. They have acquired enough authoritarian power that they feel they can do whatever they want because they do not respect our will. The will of the people is an obstacle to them that they feel is no longer relevant. The fact that they are this brazen is bad news for everyone. Yeah, exactly. Like, they are going mask off too hard, but the reason why they're going mask off is because they have the power to do that. Like, they very clearly don't need our approval for anything they do. Like, this is what I mean when I'm talking about, like, the past 50 years of people bitching about tax rates and, like, increasing inequality in this country and stuff is, like, they have clearly not needed our permission for a long time to do any of this shit. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. They have stripped away the rights of 50% of the population. You know, it was not that long ago that Roe v. Wade was just removed completely. Like, we do not have the right to an abortion in this country anymore on a federal level. You don't have the right to an abortion, or even to a controlled miscarriage. Like, you don't have the right to a safe miscarriage functionally in this country anymore. And what have we done in response to that? Like, what have we done in response to that? Black people are being killed every day in the middle of the day. Teenagers, I don't want to show you the pictures because I think that would be graphic on YouTube, but, like, there are pictures of this teenager in the hospital in, like, a, you know, not, I would not say a coma per se, but, like, in, like, a sleepy time, I am shot in the head kind of posture on the screen. And, like, what has changed? What has changed since the George Floyd uprisings? Like, what has changed since Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy, was shot in a park by a police officer in the middle of the day? Like, what has changed since George Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin? Fucking nothing. Can you imagine being black? Like, I would have had a psychotic break by now. Like, with how upset I am about what's happening to trans people. And, like, I am upset about the fact that this is happening to black people, but it's not like it's happening to people in my own family. And, like, once it hits really personal like that, I think if I were black or I did have black family and I was more personally impacted by that, I think that I would have legitimately flipped the fuck out like a long time ago. And I just, like, I just feel like people are going to snap, and that could go two different ways. What was it? I think it's something that Vosh said, actually, that you have to be kind of careful about the conditions upon which, like, the conditions upon which you reach a revolution, and the kind of way that you, like, who like has power within that revolution. Because once we reach this inevitable societal collapse where there's too much income inequality, you know, people legitimately cannot actually, they genuinely cannot afford to live. So more and more people are going to be homeless. Like, the system is inevitably going to break just on the capitalist scheme, like, not even talking about socially. And then there's going to be some group that comes out as the winner at the end of that. So we could have a socialist revolution where we manage to make some good changes in a leftist direction, or we could have a fascist revolution where we end up in an authoritarian government and we get carted off to camps and stuff like this, you know? Hello, Baphomet. I'm going to be honest with you, Baphomet. I doubt that you're going to want to hang out a lot today because it's been pretty doomer so far. It might not be doomer the whole time, but right now for sure, we're very, very, very much in it. All right. Yep. I'm just letting you know to take care of yourself. KCPD really messed this up. I'm a bail bondsman, and the fact that they released or didn't even consider detaining the shooter seems to me that they view the shooter as the complainant or victim, and the kid shot is considered the defendant or perpetrator. The recuse for the kid would have to be brought independently to the court by the advocate for the kid. Truly fucked, they might only have a civil course and not criminal course in filing suit against the shooter. Right, because I'm assuming what's happening, Drums, is that the KCPD is considering this trespassing and that you, like, shot someone who was trespassing. But, like, are you allowed to just shoot through the door at a traveling salesman? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that you're allowed to do? Like, if a salesman with a little clipboard, or if a fucking, like, Mormon, if a Jehovah Witness comes up to your door and they go, like, I would like to talk to you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Are you allowed to just shoot that person through the door? This talk requires more gin for me. Yeah, I'm not drinking right now because it just isn't fun. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I wish that I could drink and have it be fun. But it just feels bad. I don't know. Maybe it's just the type of beers that I'm getting and that don't good. Shoot the Girl Scout cookies away. Yeah, honestly, like, what's up, Icarus? It's weird I don't get your streams recommended. I mean, apparently we're doing pretty good today. What's up, 90 concurrent viewers? This is spicy for a stream from me. I don't normally have this many people. Thank you for hanging out. Hit like if you're enjoying this conversation. Consider donating to me because I'm self-employed and owe taxes from last year. Don't shoot a Jehovah's Witness. Just tell them you're Roman Catholic. That'll get rid of them faster than telling them you're Jewish. What's up, Prosy Rosie? Parasocial time. True. How you feeling today? Yeah, I mean, okay, so here, this is just on a personal note. Do you ever wake up in the morning and, on Discord you can see that someone sent you a message last night, but they have deleted it? So you have the little bubble that says, you see the little bubble that says someone sent you a message, and then you click into it, and there's nothing in there. So that's how I woke up today, was stress about that. Just on a personal note. This is coming across as slightly catastrophizing. I was in this state recently. I know how you're feeling, but being in this mindset is not healthy. I mean, this is me, like, coming to a radical acceptance place. You know? Like, and like, the thing about radical acceptance is that it doesn't mean that you're going to give up. Like, you have to radically accept a situation in order to make appropriate changes, you know? Like, if I just ignore the fact that it's becoming a more dangerous situation, I might feel better, like, on a day-to-day, like, emotionally kind of thing, but I'm definitely not going to be able to make the kind of fundamental changes that are required. Yeah, I mean, Mama Mephistopheles points out, like, frankly, it's not healthy to be living in a collapsing society. Like, that's not my fault. Like, me acknowledging the fact that we're in societal collapse is not like... It's not like me choosing to be unhealthy, you know what I mean? Hello, Rotsoy, welcome in. Listening to the stream for a while, but I haven't said anything. Oops. Hello, everyone. We appreciate the lurkers. Listen, I love lurkers. That reminds me, Luxander, I forgot to find what brand of hair ties I use, but they're called netted hair ties. They stretch out a little over time, but they hold really well. Okay, I'll take a note to look at that later. Netted hair ties. Cool. Oh, okay, I kind of see what you mean. Yeah, I might try those. They look like they would leave less of an indent in your wrist if you were to put one on your wrist. There's a reason I still have my pentacle, even though I haven't practiced witchcraft for years. I just throw the pentacle on and then answer the door. I bet that makes conversations much, much shorter. 100 concurrent viewers. Thank you all so much. It's a spicy stream. I am cultivating my living on talking about depressing content. Hit like on the video. Do it. It's pretty messed up that we are all either living in states that are taking away rights or furthering the protections for them. It's like a black or white chessboard. Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's really no middle ground on this. Not that I want to be in a state that necessarily, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of appreciative that Kansas seemed like it was just kind of not doing transphobia actively and also not passing sanctuary laws. Like, I would have been okay remaining in that state of being, but instead, here in Kansas now, they've passed a sports ban. However, they don't have the veto-proof supermajority in order to pass, like, anti-trans kids getting healthcare bills because we have the, Democrat governor. She can veto stuff. And so fostering is another thing that I want to talk about with you all today, because speaking of the shit that passed in Missouri, like, if I wasn't already planning on like basically taking custody of my siblings, like the fact that it's going to be that there's all these requirements supposedly about to kick in now in Missouri with regards to him having access to hormone therapy, like, yeah, I'm surprised that Kansas isn't as transphobic. I mean, it's mostly like we do have several population centers that are very blue. Like, the thing about Kansas is that what's happening here is kind of like a small scale of what's happening across the country, which is that in actuality, when the popular vote comes to it, we probably have more Democrats here than Republicans. But because we're gerrymandered all to fuck, and because we have, these like cities, population centers, and then like large swaths of rural Republican areas, that means that we can popular vote for a Democratic Democratic governor, but the representative government part of it, the Congress part of it, like that is, like that's why we don't have a Democratic system otherwise. Like, our Congress doesn't come up Democrat because of the same electoral college type reasons why this country is also like seemingly on a hair's edge, could go conservative, could go liberal on number of issues, like barely, and it's because of that tension between gradually reducing the power of liberal population centers and like utilizing the excuse of those, those rural communities need representation in order to just, like usurp the will of the popular vote, like the majority. So yeah, the reason why you think like, oh, Kansas seems like it's a lot less transphobic than I thought, it's because we are actually a pretty liberal, good place. Like, there are several big population centers that obviously tend to lean more liberal. I wish I had the space to foster LGBT plus kids. Yeah. Same, won't have any of my own, but I would like to take in ones that really need it. So part of what I was interested in talking about a little bit today, is like this idea of fostering, because like the situation that my siblings are in is already one that they should not be in, and then the state is getting like worse. And so I'm trying to figure out, what can I do as their older sibling? Can I like legally take custody of them? Can I get state assistance for it? And I'm just not sure about involving the government in this, because if they go and determine that the situation that they're in is one that they should not be in, which is my opinion, like, in order to get foster parent of them, they have to be removed from their current environment, right? But then, if it's acknowledged that they shouldn't be living where they are now, and they come live with me, or sorry, if we're trying to decide whether they should come live with me, if I'm disqualified for some reason, like because I'm trans, if I'm not allowed, like, you know, and they could say it's because I'm self-employed and I don't have a consistent income or something. Like, they could make up an excuse, but that ultimately comes down to they're just discriminating against me because I'm trans. Well, then my siblings are going to be put in actual foster care, which is something that I don't want to risk having done to them because it's happened to them before, and I don't want to put them in that position. So I'm kind of just trying to figure out, like, to the, like, what extent can I even ask for government help on this? Like, because fostering, like, I would, you know, I would receive, like, some help financially for helping them. Whereas if your parents are willing, might be better for your parents to just write something to give you custody. Yeah, but I was hoping to get the benefit of, like, the financial assistance and I'll get the tax benefit of having dependents, of course, but, you know, that's not necessarily going to kick in until after they've lived with me for a year and I have to pay for food and stuff while they live with me. Quarbarian with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Enjoy your dicks. Thank you. I'm gonna put that in the thingy. Gifted tier 1 sub. That's 99. I will take off my hoodie and flex for you. If we get to 420, blaze it. There's been so much discrimination done by Child Protective Services. Yeah, so it... do you have a liberal LGBTQIA+ friendly church nearby? They may be able to help. Maybe. Like, help in what way do you mean, you know? I've taken in queer teens, usually my daughter's friends, as a safe place to go. Yeah. Like, in order to give them a place to live, I'm gonna have to pay more rent. And, like, my partner and I may or may not move back in together. So part of what I'm thinking of here is, like, needing additional financial help in order to just be able to afford monthly rent that's a place that's big enough to have both of them. Political influence and be able to tell you what to do and who to talk to, etc. Maybe. I was thinking about trying to get in touch with, like, if there are any queer parents in the area, or, like, I'm trying to figure out if do I know any trans or queer people who've interacted with foster system in this way? You need a lawyer, honey? Yeah, I mean, so I guess it's possible that I could just be like, well, it's going to be really tight financially for a while, but if they just sign over custody, like, that could potentially work. And I could put on my food stamps that I'm feeding 3 people now and they might give me more money. We'll see. I promise, Prosy Rosie, if we get to the stream goal today of $420, 420 blaze it, I will take off my hoodie and probably put on something that isn't a white tank top, and I'll flex my muscles. I heard a joke once that Vosh should start a streamer house co-op. I thought it was hilarious and also the worst idea I've ever heard. Yeah, that would be dumb. That would not be good. You would have to coordinate so that no one is streaming at the same time. Like, because doesn't Conyer usually go on after Vosh? Like, they can't stream at the same time. Swole casting, exactly. I think minority parents are more likely to lose their children. I heard a story on NPR recently. I think so. Aren't there charities for LGBT children? Maybe. You need a lawyer, honey. I mean, I've thought about that. I don't know how to secure a lawyer for this. Just as I want to be, like, able to be a foster parent to my younger siblings, you know? Conyer often streams at the same time as Vosh. They have the good internet, I guess. I did not say that I would do it when we hit 69. You're lying, Skylar. I said that at 69, that's like, LOL, nice, and then I'm gonna increase the stream goal. That's how Vosh is usually able to raid Conyer, because she's already streaming. Oh, okay, I see. It was fun seeing Zan and DM do a road trip together. I did see some of the posts from that. That is, you know, we enjoy the camaraderie. The right wants us to give up hope and feel like they are winning. They want us to lose hope. Yeah, so that's not what I'm trying to say, Lily. Like, if that's what you're getting from this, then, like, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. With radical acceptance, like, accepting that the system is rigged against us doesn't mean rolling over and accepting that the system is going to fuck us over for the rest of our lives. Like, you have to accept that change is not possible through the system in order to recognize that the system needs to be destroyed, basically. Hello, Neon Cactus. Welcome, welcome. Right now, you know, we're talking about a lot of different stuff. We're talking about the government and being trans and the horrendous political situation. If you could find a queer lawyer, they might work pro bono. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Can we just secede from Florida? No, there are trans and queer kids there, and they will continue to be born there. We can't just write them off. We can't do it. Pro bono? True. I am very pro bono. Yummy. Hello, Katie TDM. Welcome to the website. Always lovely seeing new folks come into the community. Welcome, welcome. By the way, if you're hanging out and you're enjoying all these rants that we're going on, click like. We've gotten plenty of donos today, but hitting like is free. It's free. It's quick. There's got to be queer-friendly lawyers that would want to help, I'm sure. Yeah. I guess I might want to discuss my options with someone. Even if I don't end up, like, needing a lawyer's help for some of this stuff, it's probably a good idea to at least, like, get a general... Where the fuck is my pencil? Oh, there it is. I was doing math earlier, and I was using my pencil. If you can't find a good queer lawyer, check out furry lawyers. True. Collab with Legal Legal. Legal Legal is, not the kind of lawyer, I think. Yeah, do I need to talk to a lawyer? But yeah, just this week, I've been looking into, you know, what is required in order to be a foster parent. And I'm just kind of assuming at this, like, I'm just, like, trying to figure out how it would work, assuming that my partner and I aren't going to move back in together. Because if we do move back in together, then, like, we might not require as much assistance. We might even consider it, like, not worth the effort of going through the foster system or whatever. But I don't know if I could afford, like, a 3-bedroom apartment, basically. Because I'm going to have 2 teenagers, and I don't really want to force them to share a room. So maybe if I rented a place that had, like, a basement, then, like, a 2-bedroom plus basement, maybe that could technically work. I don't know. And they're both older teenagers, so in some cases I've heard that, like, if there is a question of where they want to live, they might not be forcibly removed from the home. Like, they might be able to choose to an extent as an older teenager. Like, it's not as though they're in elementary school and, you know, don't know what's good for them or whatever, right? It would be base to have an LGBT orphanage or something. As it is, as a queer people, you usually have to try to go through a Catholic agency, and then you can't, like, adopt a baby because they won't give you one. I have a 3-bedroom house in Ohio. I might be interested in renting most of it out. I'm not moving to Ohio. I'm not moving into the toxic waste area of Ohio. I also have no idea what the cost of living is like up there, you know? I'm able to function on $15,000 a year as a streamer because of the fact that I live in a place that has a pretty low cost of living. Although, like, I guess with the fact that I owe $2,000 in taxes, I guess I can't exactly afford to live here either, but I'll just owe money. It's fine. Ohio used to be such a potentially progressive place. It's the fascism all over the country, yo, I'm telling you. Yeah, Katie, we covered that in depth on Thursday, and I'm editing that video right now, and I'm hoping to have that up on the channel tomorrow morning. So, yeah, we talked about it because my teenage brother lives in Missouri. My teenage brother who needs access to healthcare lives in Missouri. So, Ohio is the potato place? No, that's Idaho. Idaho is the potato place. So, but here's the thing about Missouri, Katie, is that it's not technically going to immediately force everyone to detransition. If you make like a, quote, good faith effort to start getting the assessments that they say that you need, then you'll be allowed to stay on your care. But I do know a follow-up to that, I guess, is that I'm separated by 1 degree from someone whose doctor just dropped them completely because they were saying, like, I won't be able to defend my medical license if I come under scrutiny for this. So before they even had the emergency rule take effect, like as soon as it was announced on Friday or whatever day, sorry, it wasn't Friday. It was announced like Wednesday or Thursday, and then like Friday, people who are not very far separated from me are saying, my doctor just dropped me completely. So if your doctor is like that, then you might have just lost care anyway. But technically speaking, if you're already on hormones, you should be able to just get a referral from your doctor and have that be like, okay, well, now you're taking steps to get that therapy. However, I don't really understand how anyone is expected to be able to afford or find oh god, my brain just blanked out because I read something in chat. Oh my god, the ADD. Autism assessment is where I was leading into. Like, how are you going to afford an autism assessment? And like, how many autism assessment doctors are there? But like, I don't think that there is any timeline on how soon you have to have all this done. Like, the requirements that they had in Missouri was that you have to have 3 documented years of gender dysphoria, consecutive years of gender dysphoria. You have to do 15 sessions of therapy over no less than 18 months. And at least 10 of those sessions have to be with the same practitioner. But there is no maximum. So I think technically, if you just started seeing the therapist and you maybe only saw them once every 3 months, I don't think there's a maximum. So you could get the therapy slowly over the course of years, but I hope that there is a stay that gets put on it. It's like, are they going to say at some point that like, oh, you have to come off of it now because you're taking too long? You know, we're talking years down the line at that point. I just came out as non-binary in Dayton, Ohio. It's only been a week, but so far it's been great. Please don't judge us by the gerrymandered maps that paint us radical red. Well, I mean, I understand Ohio to be a purple state, so I'm not casting aspersions on you for sure. Excuse me. Yeah, Lux, sponsored by Ritalin. Brought to you by Ritalin. It's a chilling effect. That's part of why Republicans make rules that won't stand, because they know it will still result in fewer people getting care. Yeah. Sanji with the tier 2 sub, thank you so much. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. 109. If we get to 420, I promise I will flex for you. I'll even try different flexing positions and see how it goes. People seem to like that. Ohio has basically suffered from what's called brain drain for the past 20 years. People get educated here, but like 80% of us that have at least a bachelor's degree move because there isn't enough work for those of us that get educated. I'm part of the dumb 20% that stayed, and I have a master's degree that I don't use because I'm afraid to go back into teaching as a trans woman. Oh, that fucking sucks, Shade. You could maybe be a private tutor. Actually, I would say that might be something that you could do, except for the fact that you'd then be self-employed and it would cost a bunch of fucking money in taxes. God, I'm so sick. I hope that you all, if you're feeling sick, I hope that you've tested for COVID just in case, I'm feeling a little bit like, I'm not feeling sick, but I have gunk in my throat and I'm like, that's my annual allergy symptoms, so I know for sure that I'm not like sick. It's like the same shit that I deal with every year. I'm a Daytonian, so my sense of employment is distorted by my military base. Yeah. Y'all been keeping up with Minnesota? That governor is a BAMF. I mean, obviously Minnesota still has issues in the policing and stuff like that, but I've heard some good things coming out of Minnesota in terms of there being like sanctuary state stuff, protections, like coming in for trans people. COVID's negative, but there's a case of TB in Tacoma that's hiding from police. Was I reading? I think I was looking about that earlier, like that she was like on a bus or something, and just like a lady with tuberculosis just like on a bus out there. I've also recently had gunk in my throat even right now. Yeah, I'm like, keep clearing my throat and stuff, and I hope it's not too disgusting. It's like, sorry, there's like drainage from all the fucking Bradford pears. I'm just never going to stop bitching about the Bradford pears. And the cops just let her go to a casino, and they aren't searching for her anymore. I really think, the reason why the AIDS thing is the way that it is because of homophobia. But like, you know how it's like a crime to like infect someone with HIV without their permission? Like, without their permission, LOL. Like it's, you shouldn't have sex unprotected with someone if you have HIV and like knowingly give them HIV without their consent. So like that's a crime, but it isn't a crime to like cough in my face when COVID is going around. It's not a crime to be having tuberculosis on a bus. Like this is one of those assumptions of good faith that we have in our governing system that is just very fucking stupid. Like you just kind of have an assumption of good faith that people who have like extremely deadly diseases aren't going to go on a fucking public transport and then like go to a casino. That should be illegal. Like that should be assault. Like if you cough in my face, even if there wasn't a global pandemic, I feel like if you cough directly in my face, it should be free game for me to do like anything retaliatory to you. Like if I punch you after you cough in my face, that's you assaulted me and I'm doing a self-defense. That's my personal opinion. My grandnephew had COVID just last week. Oh, God, I'm really sorry. I saw a post recently where someone was just casually talking about their kid who had childhood onset dementia, and I was like, that's from COVID, y'all. Like, how are people just casually mentioning, like, childhood onset dementia of their 4-year-old without being, like, tying that into an acknowledgement of COVID? That shit's driving me crazy. And I'm sorry to be harping on the COVID shit all the time. It's just that nobody else is talking about it like it's real and actually a problem. I'm on like Reddit now. I'm really kind of not on Twitter as much. I'm kind of shifting over to Reddit more, and I'll see like in r/productivity, someone's like, oh, I used to be at like the peak of my productivity in college a couple years ago, and now I'm 24 and I crashed and took a 3-hour nap after working for 30 minutes the other day. And then I'll see a different post that's about like World of Warcraft. And it's about like, oh, I'm 30 and I'm suddenly finding that I can't really compete in this. And they're blaming it on like the new expansion. But I'm like, you have brain damage from COVID. Like brain damage. I lost my voice over the last week. I don't know how, but my doctor said testing at the moment might not matter as I'll likely be over it soon. It's not about whether or not you're going to be over it soon. With you have COVID, like you need to know if you have COVID so that you can know if you're at risk of fucking heart attack. COVID is still a thing and has not gone away, but everyone thinks that it's all over. Yeah, like literally brain damage, not the funny ad hom. Yeah, I'm not ad homming. It's quite literal. Essentially, one of possibly 300 viruses has rendered me mute. That's really rough. I live in Russia and people totally forgot COVID is or was a thing. Measles are coming back too. That's always good. I almost went back to bed before this stream. I'm always exhausted, and I think I got COVID years ago, and thinking is hard. Yeah. Like, my younger brother has like difficulty concentrating and stuff, and he was thinking like, oh, is this like from PTSD suddenly? And I was like, no, dude, like, you were traumatized as a young child. You would not suddenly have a bunch of memory problems now as a teenager. This is COVID-induced brain damage. I swear, COVID has made all these right-wingers' brain cells social distance from each other. That's fucking hilarious, Katie. Thank you so much. I had memory issues from getting the Delta variant. I think that I caught the Delta variant last summer. Or the summer before. I think it was the summer before. Yeah, because last year was Omicron. So the summer before last, I think I got Delta. And there would be... we were still living with my sister. And we would, like, drive... I would, like, be driving toward the end of the street. And it was, like, a T intersection. And I would forget which way I was supposed to be turning. I would, like, forget completely where I was going. And it was kind of fucking scary. And, like, still, I have a little bit of concentration issues now, but it's, like, pretty much just as bad as it was with my regular ADHD shit, you know? When we get back to normal, this is our normal now. COVID is most likely never going away. Probably not. Oh god, I just realized I can say, I think I got COVID years ago, FML life sucks. Yeah, basically, I didn't ever test at the time. I don't know why I didn't test, but 2 years ago, I most likely had COVID during the summer. He's fully vaxxed, but he was still pretty sick for a 2-year-old. I have 3 boxes of free tests. Remember when the US Gov was, like, sending out tests in the mail? That was great. They cost, like, $12 per test now. And I don't have insurance. So they're not just covered. COVID is going to be our lead in the water. I have another question. If I adopt 2 teenagers, does that mean that I get Medicaid? Does, like, the whole family qualify for Medicaid at that point? Or is it only them that gets insurance? Like, if we're below the income threshold, because I can't get Medicaid in Kansas. Like, Medicaid is not expanded. As an adult, if you're low income, you can't get, unless I have, like, a disability, officially speaking, and I have not officially applied for disability. So I'm not on Medicaid. But, like, if my siblings move in with me, do we all get health care? That would be cool. Dissociative disorders can cause that too. That's fair, Zoe. Yeah, that's fair. It's concentrated in communities that don't vax a lot. It's just never gonna stop with them, though, is the problem. Like, those people are then gonna go to the grocery store, and then everybody else doesn't think it's a big deal to go to the grocery store. Like, okay, here's the thing. I have witnessed so much gross shit recently. I've been going to the gym 4 days a week. And like, twice in 1 week, I witnessed 2 different cis white men sneeze into their hands and immediately start touching exercise equipment again. I'm like, you people are so fucking disgusting. You expect, like, a bare minimum level of like, social awareness and consideration for public spaces. But no, people are disgusting. I think Ohio expanded its Medicaid. House with 3 bedrooms for rent. Just double checking what's your pronouns. Like, it, its, or they, them. Like, I prefer it, its more than they, them, but yeah, both. My voice is just getting a little bit dry, so I'm gonna get some water. Don't go anywhere, because I'm gonna be right back, and we're gonna continue the discussion. I live in a really tiny little studio, so it's not gonna take me long to go fill up my water. Hit like if you haven't already. Consider dropping me a dono. Maybe that would be nice to come back to, but, you know, be good. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Ugh. All Alright, see, I told you I wasn't gonna be gone for long. I told you. Ooh, I told you. Friendly hydrate reminder. Precisely. Precisely. Oh, and you are so good. You didn't even go anywhere while I was gone. Amazing. I appreciate you. I'm gonna hork down this peanut butter and jelly sandwich real quick. While we're chit-chatting and talking. I can't really tell if it's my autism or COVID that's causing me focus issues. If it's like a sudden difference, then I would say probably COVID-related brain damage. But, you know. What are all the bot commands for chat? I know like, but are there any fun ones? There's a lot of overlap with the ones that are on Vosh's website and the Surf's website. Me eating is cute. Folks, if you're trans and not in a safe state, please come to Colorado. You mean Colorado, the state where there was recently a mass shooting at a gay club? Wait, COVID causes brain damage? Yeah, Lauren, if you lose the ability to smell, that's brain damage. If you suddenly have a difficult time focusing because you've had COVID and you have, quote, brain fog, that's brain damage. If you have memory issues after COVID, that's brain damage. It's brain damage. And it can damage all of the organs in your body, but it attacks the nerves, which also means that you can randomly, spontaneously develop, like, nerve pain. I was watching an expose recently about how a lot of children were experiencing just, like, debilitating nerve pain in their legs that were preventing them from being able to walk. Depends on how severe your COVID case was. Doesn't necessarily, actually. You can develop severe long COVID, like brain damage and stuff, even if your initial case of COVID was not that bad. Yeah. The governor in Colorado just signed sanctuary state laws for trans people, and they're working on gun legislation. Maybe that would be... It's going to cost so much money to move there, though. Yeah, you taking that bite of that huge Uncrustable was cute. Okay, well, I'm glad it's doing it. I'm glad it's doing something for you. The idea that COVID had probably made me mute for an indeterminate amount of time just hit me. I imagine it can irritate the throat to the point that it does that. We still don't know how it affects people. And you won't know how it affects people until, like, 20 years down the line. I mean, it's starting to seem like it might be basically the same as having completely untreated HIV in terms of that inevitably leading to, like, an AIDS-like syndrome. What's up, Violet? Was busy crashing, no energy in bed all morning, but finally awake. Yeah. I'm gonna spend the next week trying to justify spending $20 on more WoW time. Or $15, I guess. Uncrustables? Yeah, Uncrustables. It's like, it's these PBJs that, it's like, you know, it's like all crimped and cute. And you get them in the freezer, and then you just thaw it for about 30 minutes and eat it, and they're so yummy. They're so delicious. I was stupid and couldn't focus before COVID. It's gonna get even worse. Crescent, PBJ. Crescent. We crescent. I donate plasma for my entertainment budget. I was in such a shitty mood when I was donating plasma on a regular basis. But honestly, I might need to do it. I was considering, like, starting, when I saw that I was gonna owe $2,000 in taxes, I was like, shit, should I, like, work 2 days a week at a liquor store or something? And like, just give all of my taxes to them? Like, can I give my entire wage in taxes to the government if I work 2 days a week at a grocery store, or at like, a liquor store or something like that? Yuki Fox, thank you so much for the $5 dono. We appreciate when the lurkers donate. Thank you so much. Yes. 114. Hell yeah, dude. We preach. I literally couldn't donate plasma for some stupid reason or other. Wish I could. Like, what the fuck, you can sell blood? It's not quite. You might have been hungry. Yeah, like my partner and I used to donate plasma together. And we would always fight right after. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should donate plasma again. That's probably a good idea. I haven't noticed any issues with COVID, but if I miss my vitamins and meds for several days, my memory of digits goes down to exactly 1/2 of what it normally is. I can confirm this with online testing. That's crazy. The neurological degeneration is one of the scariest things. But also, don't forget the risk of developing debilitating chronic fatigue syndrome that leaves you unable to read your phone, much less get out of bed. The secret ingredient is lying. Oh, no. Yeah, donate plasma and then immediately stream. I would probably try to donate on days that I didn't stream, for sure. But even if I only did it once a week, like, I'm pretty sure I was making 15 or $30 a week when I did that. And, like, it sucks when you're in a situation where making, like, an extra $30 a week does make a big difference to you. Yeah, Violet, I have the link open. Stream your plasma donation? No. Kimber Timber says, if you come to Colorado, come to the Gender Identity Center to get hooked up with services and care. I'm totally willing to donate to GoFundMe accounts for trans refugees. I'm going to be working with some folks in the community, potentially, on, like, helping move people out of one location to another. I think that we may have actually, like, not really we, but I think that there was a recent successfully relocation to another place. So, yeah, if I come across any GoFundMes or anything, while I'm working with these folks, I'm gonna potentially promote them as well on my stream if that's necessary. So, yeah, stick around and I will let you guys know when those things happen, because they're gonna happen more and more often. Even if the situation that my siblings are in wasn't, like, one that I want them out of, with regards to just, like, how things are going for them in general, it would be necessary for me to bring my brother over here as soon as reasonably possible, because at least Kansas is not trying to restrict adults. We'll see. Oh, FYI, if you have finasteride as part of your HRT, you can't donate plasma. Just found out. Oh, that sucks. I don't have any finasteride in there, but that's good to know for any folks who might be on it. I think donating plasma perpetuated some of my white coat fear, so that's fun. It's definitely not, like, a fun thing to do when you go chill. Oh, wait, here's a link. Okay, this is from Reuters. I have CBS News and Reuters for this. And Florida Republicans. Yes, this is the drag one. Mm-hmm. Yes, finasteride is a T blocker. Or rather, it's a DHT blocker, I think. Donating plasma isn't fun, but I just bring my headphones and watch the Majority Report. I just get, it's the cold blood part afterwards. It's the part where you get infused with saline and it's, like, cold in your blood because it's room temperature. Like, it really doesn't feel good. CSL would get you $1K the first month. Is that true if you, like these places that give you a first month incentive, does that work if you used to donate there? Like, if you go back to some place that you used to donate? I'm too small to donate plasma. Is donating plasma gonna set me behind on my getting swole? If we get to the goal on the stream today, I will flex for you. You literally become a dragon with cold blood. Reptile time. Oof, that's not good. Cold blood not sound good. Yep. This might be weird, but I like the cold blood sensation afterwards. Yeah, it doesn't... I just don't enjoy it. If you stay away long enough, you get treated like a new donor. Well, it's been like fucking 10 years since I was in a situation where I needed... Donating plasma takes calories to replenish, about 400 to 600 from Google. Oh, well, shit. Maybe I should wait to start donating plasma until I'm doing my cut. In June. Maybe I'll wait until June to start donating my plasma again. You probably have to up your protein too. It's already so hard. It's so hard to get enough protein. Just on a regular day. It's so fucking difficult. I don't know why. Fat is much more easily accessible than protein, I guess. Fear the cold blood. Yeah, the bloodborne. Thank you very much, Slaps Hungry Bears, for the reference. Eating only beef jerky to have the most blood. True. All right, anyway. Yeah, so it was mentioned, yeah, fat and carbs. It's easy to get fat and carbs. You know what? I just want to eat some cookies and protein. I prefer amateur teen. Het goes to jail. True. I can't donate plasma. I'm susceptible to iron deficiency and anemia. I have to take bariatric vitamins with iron daily to stay healthy. You know, it says M on my license, but I am actually technically female according to how most of these idiots would do that. So it's like, am I actually a male who has sex with males when it comes to donating blood and plasma? I don't think. Nuts and lean meat can help too. Yeah. I have pecans on my desk right now, actually. I have pecans. Yummy. Wow, there's 113 people here. That's more than there are usually here. So thank you for hanging out. Consider hitting the like button if you're just coming in. We are talking about bullshit happening in Florida. Yes, nuts for proteins. Male, I thought you identified as non-binary. Well, my state doesn't have an option to put an X on my license. So my license says male. Currently. Gotta say it, even as a vegan, I find no issues getting enough protein. I mean, like, I'm like trying to eat a lot of calories, and maybe it's just because there's not that many calories in protein-rich foods. Like, if I eat 2 eggs, that's like less than 200 calories, you know, for 2 large eggs. And then, like, I'm getting a good amount of protein out of it, but it's not a lot of calories. So I'm maybe, like, just need to eat more foods with protein in them. And then, like, not eat foods that are going to be easy, quick calories. I don't know, man. The whole male who has sex with males thing is actually all BS. All blood is screened for everything, including HIV already, so no reason to ban sexually active males. Well, yeah, so it's not even like they have to do an extra test on your blood. It's not like it would even cost more because they test everybody's blood. I guess they just assume that there's going to be HIV in it and that they'll have to throw it away, and it would be a waste of the resources that it took to even collect it from you in the first place. Tier 2 subs. Thank you. Or sorry, 2 gifted tier 1 subs from Trout Dealer. Thank you so much. Tell the tax person I said hi. I'm hoping that I don't have to talk to any tax people. But here's the other thing. So this is the first year that my taxes have been kind of complicated. Usually it's like, oh, here's a couple W-2s and like, maybe here's my 1099 from Google to tell you about the AdSense money that I made. But this is the first year that I'm like reporting a bunch of other income. Like I don't have a 1099 from PayPal. I just had to tell them how much money I earned from PayPal this year. So my taxes are a little bit more complicated, and the law didn't they devote more resources toward auditing recently? So like I'm at a greater risk of being audited this year as the TLDR of what I'm getting to, which is kind of annoying. Hello, Max. Welcome in. Yes, it's time to throw dicks. I may be wrong, but wasn't the whole men who have sex with men thing because of anal with a higher chance of contracting blood diseases through it? What about straight people who have anal? Yeah, I mean, like, that might be one of the justifications. But yes, like, it's not as though they ask straight people. It's not like the requirement is you have to have abstained from anal sex for 6 months. It's like you can't have had sex with another man for 6 months. Dicks. This blanket emoji. Which blanket emoji? The comfy? Peppo comfy? Did you know that that's based on a real thing? The Peppo comfy? That's a fair argument about heteros. Yeah, what about heteros who have anal? It's they assume, like, there's probably... I would imagine it's probably because people who are gay are so on it with taking PrEP and stuff. I would not be surprised if total in general... I'm guessing that, like, there are more straight people with, like, oh God, what am I trying to say? I would bet that today on Earth, there are more heterosexual people with a communicable viral load of HIV than there are gay people with a communicable load of HIV. What about gay men who don't have anal? True. What about gay men who are sides? Not a top, not a bottom, only a sides. Only hands and mouth. When I went on PrEP, they were like, so you have been with a same-sex partner? And I was like, yes, I've been with other women. Good protein food, banana, broccoli, oats, chickpea pasta, dark leafy greens, sweet potato, and of course, dicks. Dicks are high in protein. It's true. You get lots of it. Bananas are good. I did buy bananas recently. That's true. I forgot that I bought bananas recently. I have self-employment taxes too. They reduced the earned income tax credit this year. That's why it's so bad. I would have gotten $900 more if I would have gotten last year's credit. Did they fucking reduce the earned income tax credit? I don't even apply. I can't even get the earned income tax credit because our combined income was too high. Like, my partner has a really good job, and so we have now entered that shitty in-between space where we really don't make enough money to not have help, but we make more money than, like, they allow help for anymore, you know? Like just barely out of the range for earned income tax credit. Fucking stupid annoying. Banana eating stream fundraiser. Hello, Steph. I'm late, so maybe you went over this already. I think that they made the no gay thing from AIDS before there was a lot known about it, and now they just keep it because homophobia. Yeah, I'm sure that they put it in place back in the 70s. But yeah, love oats and sweet potatoes. You know, I have sweet potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna grab a banana, actually. What are your favorite things to do with sweet potatoes? Anybody in the chat who's ever cooked with sweet potatoes? What do you like to do with them? Nothing is better for protein than a good piece of steak. Ooh, I actually do have a steak. I bought a steak on sale. It was, like, on clearance because they needed to get rid of it quickly. And so I do have a steak that I probably should go ahead and eat today because I didn't freeze it. But what do you like to make with yams? What do you do? Okay, I actually have 2 bananas. I'm just gonna go grab them. Literally every Lux stream I join makes me want to flee to Amsterdam even harder. Well, I'm gonna try to clean my computer soon so that maybe I can do gaming on the channel. So maybe we'll have some games only streams sometime soon. But in general, like, man, it's hard not to talk about just constant politics. You know what I mean? Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. True. What games do you plan to play? I don't really have a plan. I mean, I bought World of Warcraft recently, and it's really easy to play WoW while I do other stuff. So I could be looking at chat and talking to you guys while I just kind of, like, do stupid shit that doesn't matter on WoW, you know? Sweet potato pie. That's what I bought the sweet potatoes for. I just haven't... I was like, maybe I should do something that's less sugary. You should eat the banana like Catherine McCormick in Dangerous Beauty. I'm not familiar with the reference. Minecraft is a stim game for me. Minecraft just bores me after a while. Sweet potato brownies, vegan mac and cheese, egg muffins, sweet potato with spinach. Can you make savory things with yams? Can you make savory things with yams? Mash them and top them with marshmallows. Yeah, that's not helping me with my... I want to do maybe a less sugary option. Because I do eat a lot of sugar lately. I'm trying to cut back on that. Fries are savory. So yeah, there was something about Florida that was a little bit less annoying and stupid, but still pretty dumb. And that's that a Florida Republican who sponsored an anti-drag bill, quote, can't answer whether his wife's charity event featuring, quote, sultry performers would be criminalized under this law. I love sweet potato pie. It's so much more dense than pumpkin pie. It's so yummy. I should just go ahead and make a pumpkin pie. Or sorry, a sweet potato pie. That would be good. A Florida Republican who has defended his anti-drag legislation in the name of protecting children couldn't say whether his wife's upcoming charity gala, which is billed as featuring, quote, sultry performers, would flout his own proposed bill to criminalize, quote, adult live performances in front of kids. State Rep Randy Fine sparked controversy this week while discussing legislation he introduced earlier this year, which would block venues from admitting children to certain performance events. The bill itself does not directly mention drag, but opponents say the legislation is meant to target drag performers and could effectively shutter local pride events. During comments on the Florida House floor on Wednesday, Fine, whose district covers southern Brevard County, acknowledged that queer performers would likely be impacted by the proposed law. He said, quote, if it means erasing a community because you have to target children, then damn right we ought to do it. I saw that. I didn't realize it was the same guy. As usual, the law is vague and then only applied to queer people while straight people do the same thing. Same thing Hitler did. Yeah, true. My laptop can't handle Minecraft, but I hate playing Minecraft with a controller, so I have a keyboard and mouse plugged into my Xbox. That's funny. Yeah, so he just out there said, if it means erasing a community because you have to target children, like, yeah, it's just really fucking stupid. But Wendy Fine is listed as the co-host of an upcoming annual gala to raise money for a Florida children's charity called Spring Forward for Autism. The description for the event advertises an evening filled with sultry performers. Wait, what? Wait, what? You're telling me that the wife of this man has a charity for children, a children's charity specifically, an autistic children's charity, and she is the co-host of an event that is explicitly advertising an evening filled with sultry performers? What? Shade, thank you so much for the gifted tier 1 sub to Icarus. I appreciate that. I love I don't know that I'm ever going to change the dono sound now that it is what it is. I'm just going to leave it the way that it is forever. I bet they want to, quote, cure autism too. Yeah, right? It's that thing that I always say, every accusation a confession. Yeah, no, exactly. Also, these autism charities are often just for funding ABA and literal abuse of autistic children. I have something I need to say about ABA. After I finish eating this banana. I'm taking forever to eat this banana. Banana! I have another banana if I need one. I have an emergency second banana. Bananas are good. Definitely haven't been watching a bunch of Doctor Who lately. Anyway. You can make the sweet potato pie with stevia to avoid the extra sugar. That sounds terrible. Thank you for the thank you for the recommendation. I think stevia tastes awful. Thank you, and welcome to the website, Glow Glow. For real, imagine if an LGBT charity did anything like this. They would never shut the fuck up. They would never stop. Okay, ABA. For those of you who don't know, decoy duck. ABA is, what does it stand for? What is ABA? Applied Behavior Analysis. It's a therapy based on the science of learning and behavior, quote unquote. It's a psychological intervention that applies empirical approaches based upon the principles of respondent and operant conditioning to change behavior of social significance, says Wikipedia. The point of ABA is to try to force autistic people to pretend that they're not autistic. You know, it's like they tell you to have quiet hands. You need to have quiet hands if you're a kid who flaps and stuff like that. Like if you're a kid who stims like this, they tell you, oh, we need to have quiet hands, and they make you put your hands down in your lap and like restrain your body. And like they force you to make eye contact and like try to basically like force you to be normal. And now I know someone who was defending ABA recently as an autistic person who had gone through ABA and was like, it can be done in a way that isn't abusive. And I was just sitting there like, oh, I didn't realize that this was. Like, I knew that they were autistic or something, but I could also tell that there was something wrong with them. Like I'm autistic, and I know what it's like to be around other autistic people. And there's something wrong with an autistic person who's gone through ABA. Like, their behavior is weird. And I can tell that they're like, it's uncomfortable for me to be around autistic people who've been through ABA. And I had no idea that that's what it was. I was like, I want to be friends with this person because they're trans, and like, you know, and like we were, you know, getting to know. It's not like watching someone masking. No, it's different. Like, I had no idea that this person's behavior and their body language and stuff was the result of ABA until way later. And now in retrospect, I'm like, oh, that's what's wrong with you. I guess it's like a certain kind of masking, I suppose, but it's just like it's like clearly it's an uncanny valley kind of thing. Yeah. Like, and I like this person and stuff, like, you know, I don't like, God, I hope that they never come to my stream and find out that I'm talking about them this way. But like, yeah, I was like off put by them. Something was a little bit off about their behavior, and like, lo and behold, it's because they were abused into like acting a certain way, and it has fucked up their behavior. Like, they didn't learn to mask naturally, so it's a bit off. Yeah, I don't know what exactly it is, but it is definitely a bit of an uncanny valley. The only good thing about it, Uncomfortable says, it can save Black autistic lives. Their stems are more likely to be read as violent. Obviously, the solution is to just get rid of racism, but until then, ABA can't actually like save lives of people of color, says Uncomfortable. But Anansi is saying ABA is literal torture. My family used it without realizing they were torturing me. Violet did ABA. It was ABA, and conversion therapy is based off the same goal of genocide of neurodiversity. Yeah. My parents made me do ABA, and I was constantly monitored at school and graded by how normal I was, like pulled from class if I hand flapped too much. So now I wring my hands together painfully, and it can cause headaches and forearm pain. You know, it's funny. I am stimming by doing that right now because it's a little bit stressful, I guess. But I never did. Yeah, I was never forced to do ABA. That's so fucked. Like, I didn't realize there were like 4 people in this community. And it's like, it's one thing if you all went through ABA and then like you're like, you recognize that it's wrong, but someone who thinks that ABA is a good thing, I think that it sinks into their behavior a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? I'm not confusing ABA with masking. I'm talking about the therapy itself. Oh, to the person who was talking about Black survival. Well, yeah, I guess it's like the particular kind of teaching how to mask, and like maybe they don't have access to those otherwise. I was told specifically, you need to be normal and not autistic. Stop being autistic. It's very fucked up. In my experience, any therapy based on there's something wrong with you, that's why we have to teach you to cope with it while looking as close to normal as possible, is potentially abusive. Who the fuck wants to be normal if that's what normal is? Amen. As someone with ADHD, I also stim and was constantly told to stop it and make eye contact. It's really, I'm not a big fan of the idea of that you're going to convert someone in therapy. That's part of what's so frustrating about the thing in Missouri that we were talking about on Thursday is that they, oh my God, my brain just flushed. Why? Why? Like, there's the paternalism about the autism. And like, if you're autistic, then you're not allowed to be trans kind of thing, you know? I now make uncomfortable. I make folks uncomfortable with my eye contact now because I was told I had to maintain eye contact in ABA. That's weird. I'm constantly told to slow my voice down, stop interrupting people, stop moving my legs so much with ADHD. How long until Missouri requires therapists to stop affirming trans identities? Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like in Missouri, they're having you do this therapy that like the point of the therapy that you're supposed to do is to find, yo, I want that flex. Thank you, Prosy. Thank you, Shade, for the Prosy Rosie gifted tier 1 sub. Trying to get to that flex. Don't drain your coffers completely because it seems like we're not going to get there today. Unless someone comes in with a fat $300 dono right now, I don't think we're going to get to the stream goal and the flexing today. But they're trying to come up with all these other reasons. So like for me, I was abused by my mother. And so they might say, because you were physically abused by your mother, that's why you're trans. Like, and you didn't have a good model for masculinity because your dad wasn't living with you. Like if someone, will the flex still be on the table after today? Potentially with a newly started dono thing for next time. I don't know. I'm not usually like carrying them over from one to the next. Excuse me. Yeah, if you were sexually assaulted, people have said that that's why, like, oh, you're actually trans because you were sexually assaulted. And people used to say that about gay people too. Like, oh, you wouldn't be gay if you weren't molested as a kid. And it's like, maybe I was molested as a kid because I was gay. Did you think about that? Did you think that maybe it was obvious that I was a vulnerable person as a kid? Like, a lot of trans and queer people have gone through this. It's not like being molested makes you gay or trans. It's more likely that there was just something weird about you and you, like, were kind of withdrawn, you know? And then you were easily singled out and groomed and, like, molested and stuff. There's some evidence that BPD is the symptoms from neurodiverse people being abused. Yeah, that's part of why I have a little bit of an issue with the BPD diagnosis. Like, getting that diagnosis helped me get care that has revolutionarily changed my life, and I don't hate it in that regard. But I really do think it's just the pathologizing of how PTSD manifests within autistic people. Like, I do think that hypothesis has merit to it, right? Lily, did I say that I said anything to that person about their body language coming across weird? No. I was like, I'm becoming friends with this person and I find them really off-putting and I can't really put my finger on it. Like, I can tell that they're autistic, but there's something actually weird about them. I'm autistic and I like being around autistic people, so why is this person making me feel so weird? I'm still going to try to be friends with them. And then later, I realized on Facebook that they are a person who like went through ABA and supports ABA now. And I'm like, oh, that's what's wrong with you. And I haven't, like, that's just me mentally going, oh, it makes sense why you seem so weird to me. And then I'm never going to talk to them about it because I'm not interested in having a conversation with an autistic person who thinks that ABA is a good thing. We're not going to be that close of friends. So yeah, that's, you know, I would never be rude and like tell someone that their body language is weird. Antibiotics time. Hell yes, Shade. Take those antibiotics. It just came off as weird. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm saying that, like, yeah, ABA results in some actually uncomfortable behavior. Like if the goal of ABA is to make autistic people fit in, it's doing the opposite. Like, if the goal of ABA is to make autistic people seem normal, it actually made them worse. Based on my brief experience with this one person. Like, this person, like, clearly has been taught a set of behaviors that are, like, masking behaviors that make their social interactions even weirder to me. The goal of ABA isn't even to make us fit in, it's to make us shut up and agree to the abuse against us. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Hello, Beth Harp. Late but here. Welcome in. We are chillin'. I guess we should actually talk about the thing that is in the title of the stream here soon, huh? Yeah, no, ABA is abuse that lets others know who is and isn't autistic. What's up, Davey? I mentioned to someone that the Florida pedo bill was maybe a subversive way to kill drag people / drag queens. Kill trans people / drag queens, which Florida keeps calling groomers, and they accused me of baiting for a gotcha. Oh, God. ABA makes stims less obvious, but potentially increases uncanny valley. Weird body language was a reason in the past to make me come off as a weirdo. Only if I was holding my white cane did people get it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like body language, like, yeah, body language is a means of communicating, and if you don't understand the language because you can't see, like, if you can't see and therefore you haven't developed this entire section of language called, like, how to posture your body in a way that makes you seem non-threatening, then, like, yeah, it's like gonna come across as weird. And like, yeah, I don't think that it's right to alienate people for that. And it's specifically in this situation with the ABA, like, people act like autistic people have weird body language, but that's normal to me. Like, autistic body language is normal to me. So when I experience someone who I'm like, it's really obvious to me that you're neurodivergent, but you're like, your body language is like, the way that you're communicating with your body is like wrong. Like, it does not fit into the way that any normal person interacts. Like, and so I'm going to be off put by that. And like, I can have my feelings about being off put by that. And like, it makes sense why that person is the way that they are, you know? And again, I didn't like call them weird to their face. I just was like, that's quite strange. I wonder why they are the way that they are. I'm still going to be friends with them. And then I was like, okay, well, now I know why they were so strange to me. Antihistamines under my tongue, true. I've been evaluated for BPD several times, as well as autism and ADHD, but I never fall into any of the diagnoses. They've learned to ignore their needs. That's got to be a deep trauma, for sure. Excuse me. The whole point of pedo jacketing, they call anyone they don't like a pedo, and then whoever pushes back, they accused of defending pedos. Yeah. Oh my God. Let's finally start the Florida part of this segment of this stream. Excuse me. Hey, there's like 97 people here, which is great. You've been hanging out for all of this time where we've kind of just been shooting the shit about whatever random politics stuff that I feel like talking about. But now we're going to actually get into what's going on in the title of the stream. So if you want to do that, make sure you click like on the video and maybe share this on, I don't know. I would say share it on Twitter, but don't, because just because you don't understand their body language doesn't mean those feelings of being put off are valid. I disagree with you telling me that my feelings of being uncomfortable around someone who is using weird body language is invalid. Like, as someone who is trans and still at risk of being corrective raped in society, I'm gonna maintain my feelings of being off-put by people with weird body language. Because this person was weird because they were tortured through ABA, but they could have been weird because they're a serial killer. And I really don't appreciate being told that my feelings about interpreting other people's body language are invalid. You know? I stopped the ABA stuff and now I seem fine. Wait, and oh, Slaps Hungry Bear says, an old friend of mine once said, I would never have guessed that you were autistic, but I thought you were fucking weird. And then I stopped the ABA stuff and now I seem, quote, fine. Florida being subversive mofos with this law. Are people dropping off right as we're about to start the actual Florida segment? Okay. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna drink some water. They don't want to hear the bad news. Yeah, that's fair. They were just here for the banana stream. True. Should I eat another banana and then we'll actually start the segment here in a moment? Ponderful did a fantastic video about how body language is all BS and just a tool for cops to arrest innocent people. Yeah, people really do be wanting to chill. They come in for a stream that's titled Genocide, and then they hang out they come and just chill for the hanging out part. Damn, I missed the banana? No, you did not miss the banana. There's a second banana. And you'll note that I specifically am eating the banana by taking chunks out of it and then putting it in my mouth. True, Icarus. Flashback to the no politics donation. True. If we get to if we get to $420 in the next like 10 minutes, I will not only flex for you, but I will also not talk about this Florida segment. The darker the title, the longer the putting it off. I mean, no, we still have banana. Banana. I guess it's kind of out of frame. I should put it up here. Yo, again, did anyone else's taste change? I used to hate bananas, no lie or joke. Your tastes do change. I am entering that phase where I'm entering that phase where I don't want sweet shit anymore. And it sucks, because you know what? Like, cinnamon rolls are my favorite thing. Cinnamon rolls, like, used to be my favorite thing, and now that I'm thinking about eating a cinnamon roll right now, it's making my teeth hurt, and it makes my tongue feel weird, because I'm like, I just don't want sweet stuff. If I ever stop liking bananas, I'm gonna be really upset. I like bananas, but only if they're just a banana. If you put a banana in something, like a smoothie or something, I don't want it. It's gross to me at that point. I hate those phases where you don't want anything sweet. I think that's what naturally, biologically happens to you. Is like you just lose your interest in sweet because when you're younger, you need a lot of calories in order to grow. And so you're seeking sweet things because sweet things tend to have high calories. Bananas are good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your taste buds actually change. I came in for the Florida news and was pleasantly surprised because I'm a noob with the chillin'. Yeah, we do our best, just like to balance out the bad shit and the good shit. We really try. PSA, banana are not spicy. You're allergic? Oh no. And yes, of course, COVID can change your taste preferences via brain damage. So keep that in mind. Okay, I'm almost done with this banana. And then we'll talk about stuff. I like sweets a lot, but I'm younger than you. Yeah, I'm going to be 30 next year, so. Yummy. Yeah, Anthony, I saw you were thinking about naming a little dragon plushie after me. I would say I'm not, like, upset by that. I knew someone who I was, like, kind of friends with who named one of their characters in World of Warcraft after me. And then sometime after I came out defending one of ContraPoint's videos, that person blocked me. And then I had to find out through a friend that I was blocked. Like I had to find, like, I was like, was that a mistake? Did I get caught up in a block list? No. So I would say, just in case I do something that really seriously disappoints you in the future, you might not want to name your stuffed animal or World of Warcraft character after me. I mean, it's okay anyway. That person named a hunter after me, and I was like, you clearly don't know Luxander very well if you're naming your hunter Luxander. I don't play hunters. Sorry. World of Warcraft swaying, like, swerve moment. I don't play hunter. Name your evoker Luxander. Where did the name Luxander come from? It came from just a lot of time spending, like, putting words into Google Translate. It's pretty much what happened. It's the dragon class. Evoker, is that a D&D thing? I don't know. I don't actually know much about evokers, TBH. Oh, evoker is a new WoW class. Is that what the Drakthir are? Okay. You should really try it. It's free at the moment. I ran out of WoW time last night. I ran out of WoW time last night, y'all. Do y'all prefer bananas ripe or unripe? I like them a little bit green. What do you mean? I'm never gonna rename my Anna Kasparian teddy bear. I'm just gonna get a stuffed, like, bunny or something. Fun fact, American chocolate can't be sold as chocolate in the EU. I assume that's because it doesn't have enough... Because of how the cocoa is processed, like there's not enough cocoa in it or something. If you show the comic in Stream Rec, I will send you the WoW sub later today once you have enough gold. Okay, well, I mean, I appreciate it. what are we looking at? Oh, that is funny. Kelly J. Keane is so fucking stupid. Okay, this... Is this what we're talking about? Let me get stuff. There's 2 tweets. Dos tweets. Tip for the anemics in chat. Pistachios actually have a nice boost of iron and fats so that when your iron level dips and you feel really gross, eat a handful of pistachios as a snack. I fucking love pistachios. Yes, Mama, that was you, indeed. There's been a lot of research about autistics over the years, but this one really took the cake. Let's see. What happened when researchers attempted to compare the moral compass of autistic and non-autistic people? Oh, I think I know what this is about. It reminds me there's a big bag of garlic almonds upstairs. I'm gonna steal it. Ooh, yummy. So in 2020, researchers conducted a study with autistic and allistic people. Participants were from Brazil and between the ages of 14 and 25. They were given a choice. They could support a bad cause for monetary gain, such as, like, terminating these kittens for money, or you could not support the bad cause but miss out on the money. The choice was given in 2 different settings. One was in public and one was in private. This is what the study discovered. Allistic people, so non-autistic people, were more likely to support the bad cause and take the money. The higher the monetary reward was, the more likely they were to do so. And they were more likely to support it in a private setting. Like you would say in public, I don't support it, but then in private you would say, yeah, give me the money. Autistic people, on the other hand, were much less likely to support the bad cause, and their answer stayed the same regardless of the setting. They just said no matter how much money there was. How did the researchers feel about these results? Well, they concluded that autistics were too concerned with their principles and morals. They framed this as a negative thing, inflexible when following a moral rule, even though an immoral action can benefit them. suffer an undue concern about the moral cost. Like, what the fuck is this conclusion? Yeah. The idea that, like, being morally consistent is a bad thing. Genuinely, being morally consistent is a bad thing, according to this. They're literally too good. They really just wanted to find a way to say autistic people bad, honestly. Autistic people are too good. We must take them down a peg. This is fucking backwards. Basically, they decided that autistics care too much and should be more willing to sacrifice their principles for money. I know, I'm shocked too, but let's remember this is only one study, and not all autistics are selfless, and not all allistics are selfish, yet it does shine a light on how researchers talk about us. Is this just a part 2 of that? Yeah. It often feels like everything about us autistics is twisted into negative traits, even the good stuff. Our strong sense of justice and our rich inner lives, our passion for our special interests are all viewed with skepticism. We can see it all across autism research carried out by neurotypicals. There is an inherent bias. Imagine if we talked about neurotypicals the same way researchers talk about autistics. I'm staring into your soul. Aggressive obsession with eye contact, inflexible adherence to unwritten social rules, inexplicable compulsion to project negative subtext into simple conversations. This is how I talk about holistics now. Oh no. Oh, that really got me. Oh no. Oh man. Yeah, we need to have a serious conversation about how we research and talk about autism. And above all, autistic voices need to be the ones leading the charge. I think that might have been the loudest I've ever laughed during a... Oh man, that was funny. Oh no. Ugh. It's too true. Yeah, this dragon has been officially slain. Oh my god. Oh no. It's almost like they're projecting their own insecurities about themselves onto us. I mean, that's fair, Violet. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's so crazy to me that you can just gold farm really briefly and then like that's you have enough gold. I think I just chose a really bad server. I'm on Ghostlands now because it's slightly higher population and it's a little bit more even between Horde and Alliance, but I just have not been on good servers. I didn't get it. Sorry, I could barely understand. Oh, Beth, it's talking about like how autistic people are spoken about in the literature. Like the idea that like if you choose not to do something horrendously immoral for a benefit, like a financial benefit, like the idea that being morally consistent is a bad thing versus like this part, like, sorry, Beth, this part here is an example of an autistic researcher describing allistic people with the same kind of moral condemnation, like aggressive obsession with eye contact, as opposed to like refusal to make eye contact, you know, or like inflexible adherence to unwritten social rules. You know, that way when allistic people like tell you that you're acting embarrassing, but they won't explain why. Or inexplicable compulsion to project negative subtext into simple conversations refers to that thing that allistic people do when you are stating a fact and they think that you're like saying something underneath it, that you're like, that you're implying something, and you're like, but I said the words that I just said. Like, are we fighting right now about something I literally didn't say? And they're like, but you did say that. And it's like, no, you think that that was implied in what I said, but I didn't imply that in what I said. I just said the words, you know? So that's what made me laugh so hard, Beth, was the inexplicable compulsion to project negative subtext into simple conversations. It was the way that it was phrased and the fact that it rings true for a serious, like, problem. Like, I just want to be clear, that is why I laughed so hard. It's because being rich equals most investing equals more to profit. Oh, that's true. Yeah. It also helps that I have most professions leveled and set up already. Mm-hmm. That was funny. What do you mean? You think it's bad to read subtext? You think subtext is bad? What else do you think is bad? Kittens are bad? Yeah, kittens are bad. I hate kittens. That's why they seek to genocide us. We are antithetical to Nazism because of who we are. I think we were reading something a few months ago. I think we were reading something a couple months ago about how autistic people are just kind of immune to advertising. Like, we just are immune to peer pressure. Like, if someone tries to peer pressure us, we're just like, nope. I thought you were gonna do Joe Pesci. Funny how? Funny like a clown? No, that's not. I don't have that on deck. I hate it when someone thinks I'm hinting at something when I am making a simple statement. Yeah, that's why I laughed so hard. Who is peer pressure? I don't know her. I did the goblin thing. We goblin mode sometimes. I will unbuy your product if your ad annoys me. It's also why the military won't take autistic people. We don't bend to immoral things. Yeah, if you ask me to do something immoral, I'm not gonna do it. Kobold mode. Kobolds are, like, such a specific World of Warcraft thing for me. Headcanon Cheaty from Good Place is autistic? Maybe. I haven't watched The Good Place in a while. Because we just don't understand subcontext when it's not spelled out unless we already understand that strategy of conversation is on the table and we stick to morals. I feel like I understand subtext. I love movies and TV and like thinking about it and stories because I like subtext and I can pick up on subtext. It's that allistic people just make shit up that has nothing to do with what I just said. I, ADHD, not autism, feel the peer pressure, but I am just completely incapable of actually acting on it. Yeah, I'm just unaffected completely. Okay, we were gonna actually start talking about Florida now. There's 137 likes on this video. Holy shit. We're doing so well. Autistic subtext and allistic subtext are different. This is true. Gotta drink more water. Okay. Florida lawmakers doing fucked up shit. We love them doing fucked up shit. Because it means that we can make news about it. I really wish that they would stop doing it, though. I wish that my job could just be playing video games and not talking about this fucked up politics shit. That would be cool. I have my dad coming over soon, so after this we'll probably have to leave. But thanks. Yes, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you helping me with my WoW stuff. Very much appreciated. I now have the tools to actually make some money this month on WoW, so I'll be able to pay for my own time next time. Random singing. We got a bingo! We have a bingo! Okay. So... things have been getting progressively worse all across the country, and one of the leading folks in this warpath against trans people is Ron DeSantis. I always keep trying to call him Rob DeSantis. I don't know why. His name is Ron. He is the Florida governor, and it seems like he's trying to set himself up for a little presidential run. Interesting. And he's been, you know, consistently in the news for us. We've been talking about him a lot, because in Florida they're doing all these anti-drag stuff and, like, anti-trans kids getting any health care. Rob DeSantis is an instruction, not a name. Oh, no. And he tends to appoint people who also do screwed up stuff. Like, you know, there's a very clear case of, like, bribery gets you onto the panel. You know, like the medical board, the board of medicine that determined just, like, outside of the legislative process that trans kids don't deserve access to healthcare. Like, all those people, almost all those people who were on that board of medicine were folks who had donated to Ron DeSantis' campaign. So, you know, we're doing good. The newest horrendous news out of Florida is that Florida lawmakers are pursuing the death penalty in cases of child sexual assault. So this has just moved out of committee. Florida to allow death penalty with 8-4 jury vote instead of unanimously. Like, I think it was a 12-0 only. Yeah, okay, so if the Republican governors sign the bill into law, Florida prosecutors trying capital felony cases would need to convince only 2/3 of the 12-member jury that someone who is convicted deserves the death penalty, rather than a unanimous decision by the jury. I think also on the federal level, you are not really meant to do the death penalty for like non-capital offenses. Like generally you can only do death penalty for certain kinds of offenses, and rape is not amongst those. Ron DeSantis will never be president. I mean, we can hope, Mama Mephistopheles. Like, we can fucking hope. I was reading all the Florida bills, and I didn't even see this one yet. It's not on the ACLU anti-LGBT bill tracker yet. This, I think, just left committee. Like, it must have just left committee. Let's see if I can find that detail. Excuse me. Oh, goodness gracious. So this is probably not coming up specifically on an anti-LGBT bill tracker yet, because technically this doesn't specifically target trans or queer people. But the problem with this is that if the attempts to increase and expand the definition of what is a sexual crime against a child, like they are trying to expand that. Let me see. Did I retweet that one? Like Alyssa points out, I have been called a groomer, pedophile, and something else for sexualizing children simply because I exist as transgender in the state of Florida. And drag queens and all LGBTQ plus Floridians have been called groomers and stuff. So if you drum up enough rhetoric against us and you say, oh, like in Arkansas, they're trying to pass a law, and they may have done already. They tried to pass a law about like making it a sex crime to be in a bathroom as a trans person with a child present. So like if you walk in to wash your hands and there's a child in the restroom, that's a sex crime on a child. So if you continue to expand that, then yes, exactly. Going to the bathroom becomes a death penalty case. If like being a sex crime against a child, like doing a sex crime against a child is worthy of the death penalty, and something as minor as going to the bathroom as a trans person, if a child is in there, like you could be sitting there taking a shit and just sitting there, and if a child comes in and uses the restroom and then leaves, you sitting there taking a shit, you even went into the bathroom before there were any kids in there, that's a sex crime against a child. The bill does say it's only for rape, but that's the thing, is that they're going to continue expanding the definition. Like right now, oh, that you can say that this seems reasonable. Oh, it only applies to actual rape. It only applies to like actual genital penetration or some, like you could say, well, for now it only applies to this very narrow set of circumstances. But like, how much longer do we have before this becomes like just a simple being in public wearing drag, quote unquote, which basically just means cross-dressing? Like, how long before your fucking, like, Riley Grace Rochong thought crime, like, you know, your fetish in public of dressing like a woman is, you know, a sex crime on my children, therefore we're gonna arrest you and give you the death penalty? For a long time, I've been 99% certain that the death penalty doesn't act as a deterrent. I think it's been shown through the evidence. It's not a slippery slope fallacy, you dumb fuck. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Someone in my chat is telling me that this is a slippery slope fallacy? As if it hasn't been obvious for fucking months and like over a year now. Over a year that all of these people are calling us groomers. People have called me a groomer. People have insinuated that I groomed my younger brother into being trans, even though I haven't lived with them for like almost 15 years. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Seriously. It's not a slippery slope. The Republicans have set up a water slide to genocide. People are literally saying I'm a rapist and a groomer. Like, yeah, like Prosy says. So yeah, it's obvious that they've been heading this direction. It's not a fallacy when we're watching this escalation happen. It's been ongoing for a long time. It's very clear that they're trying to set this situation up to say, okay, all trans people are groomers and pedophiles. And like, once we get to that place, do you think they're going to stop there either? They're also going to say gay people are groomers and pedophiles. Like, as though, like, I remember having a butch woman be the PE teacher. And I remember parents, maybe even my own mother, saying offhand comments about how, oh, that teacher is a lesbian. Should she even be in the girls' locker room with those kids? And like, I knew that she wasn't weirdly sexual toward anyone. She was just a masculine woman. And I remember I remember that. That clearly had an impact on me because I remember it. And so that's not even I'm not even 30 years old yet. And when I was in like middle school, I had a butch female teacher, a masculine female teacher in PE, and people were making comments about her potentially being a predator toward children. So yeah, someone in chat had a butch PE teacher. People said the same shit about her. It's not going to stop. Wherever you think, like, you think, oh, there is a certain place where it's going to stop getting more bad, you're fucking delusional. I was 25 years old when a coworker told me gay people shouldn't be allowed to adopt children, and that was 10 years ago. My mom at one point unironically thought my sibling was trans only because I came out, even though they knew they were trans before I came out. Yeah, Uno reverse. Not that your younger sibling had any actual influence on you. That's a joke. So I don't think that this was an actual segment that we included before, but I want to call attention to it now so that it does make it on the channel. Let me find it. Travel warning. Equality Florida, which is an organization in Florida, they're taking the extraordinary step of issuing a travel advisory. The travel advisory. If you live in Florida, get out. If you're thinking about moving to Florida, don't. If you are planning on traveling to Florida, don't. Literally, even just traveling through the state. If you're trans and you just travel through the state, like if you have a trans kid, or if you're trans and you have a kid and you just travel through the state currently has the power to just steal your child. You need to get that board on the stages of genocide. I know, I need it. I need to be able to slap it. To be clear, this is stage 9 of genocide. This is an attempt at moving into stage 9. We've talked about it before. I had it open earlier. I guess I don't have it open right now. Oh, that's a teeny tiny image. Excuse me. We've been talking about this for a while, okay? We've already been through all of these things: classification, symbolization, discrimination, dehumanization, organization, polarization, preparation. We are leading into like stages 8 and 9 here. Okay, so persecution, stage 8, is when victims are identified because of their ethnicity or religion and death lists are drawn up. People are sometimes segregated into ghettos, deported, or starved, and property is often expropriated. Genocidal massacres begin. We're like in stage 8, where DeSantis was seeking a list of people who sought like counseling related to gender issues from college campuses and shit like that. They're doing stage 8. Like, they're there. And then stage 9, that's the extermination. Like, I want you to understand, like, when we're looking at 10 stages of genocide, people tend to think, oh, genocide is the part where a bunch of people die. No. First of all, the genocide includes a bunch of steps leading up into the people dying, and it also includes a final stage called denial. So stage 10 is like years after the deaths have happened. Stage 9 is critical mass. Stage 9 is camps and gas chambers and fucking firing squads. Stage 9. If they're trying to make it legal to kill pedophiles and then they accuse trans people of being pedophiles, what do you think is going to happen? We are fucked. Yeah, stage 9 is also the stage that leads directly into stage 10 for the next group. Or sorry, no. Stage 10 is also the stage that leads directly into stage 1 for the next group. So yeah, you're in denial, and then you start classifying a different kind of people. People continue to deny the Holocaust. Yeah, I know. We are technically also in stage 10 because they're trying to deny and erase Stonewall and queer history from schools with book bans. I mean, yeah, so that's like stage 10 on the gay genocide that they did. They did a genocide against gay people by letting them all die. Where was that we had pulled up earlier? I'm pulling up the quilt again. We already had the gay genocide. We already had the gay genocide where they killed a bunch of people through their inaction on AIDS. And then, like, erasing this, that's the denial. Like, we've been in the denial phase for this genocide for a while. And, like, to the extent that people are still going to be, like, people are going to take issue with me calling the AIDS crisis a genocide. It was a deliberate allowing of people to die through inaction. Yeah, we're doing the stages of genocide again. It's just never going to, it's, like, not going to stop unless something very seriously happens, you know? Stonewall was trans and drag queens too, though. Yeah, it was just less so. You know, public opinion. There are even gay people who were alive back then who think that trans people and drag queens weren't really that big a part of it, and that it mainly had to do with gay people because of the way that information was disseminated at the time. They still didn't necessarily have access to the knowledge unless they were literally physically there. There was a gay genocide. Yeah. Okay. So Katie, what happened is that AIDS was, like HIV/AIDS was affecting gay people a lot. And Ronald Reagan explicitly told the head of the CDC not to take any, like, not to use any funding to study it. They took no public health measures to curb it. There was no communication about public health measures. They did not talk about it. Like, all of, like, gay, like, thousands. This quilt, if you don't know what it is, Katie, this quilt, it's like a bunch of different quilts. I know it's hard to see because of how it's not a very good quality picture, but like each of these different color patches, that's a different quilt. Like each one of these blocks has like probably a couple dozen on it, like each individual little patch there. And each one of those was made by or for a person who died. Like all of those, each one of these represents someone who died of HIV because the government refused to treat it. So yes, they did do a genocide against gay people already. Oh, and yeah, so each of these are in the dimensions of a coffin. So each of these is like as large as a coffin. That's what the intended purpose of the art installation was. Yeah, it's a lot of quilts. It's a fuck ton of quilts. So this attack on our community has been ongoing for literal decades, and we're having another great resurgence where they're attempting to portray us as groomers and pedophiles. We have seen some references to AIDS. I'm not going to try to pull up an example right now because, like, here's an entire video of a bunch of, like, Proud Boys protesting, and they have signs about AIDS and, like, calling people groomers, like, literally saying shit like about how we're spreading AIDS to children, and, like, It was widely called gay cancer too, and it wasn't until straight people and children started contracting HIV that they did literally anything about it on a public health. Yeah, Excuse me. Tons of trans women housed, protected, and cared for dying gay men during the AIDS crisis. American gays who don't protect trans people are bastards. It's not like we were taught. You know, it's not as though we were taught about HIV AIDS. You know, that's the denial phase. We weren't taught. I learned about it as an adult from other gay people. There's on the AIDSmemorial.org website, there's an interactive quilt where you can see each square. Like each square is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coffin-shaped quilts. That's a lot of people. I went to an AIDS art exhibit, an AIDS-related art exhibit, and one of them was, it was like a graveyard fence, and you were supposed to tie a ribbon on it if you personally knew someone who was affected by HIV/AIDS, or like specifically someone you knew died from it. And yeah, that was weird. I didn't personally know him, but I had a great uncle who died from HIV/AIDS like before I was born. So even though I didn't know him, I tied a ribbon for him, and I texted one of my aunts, and she was like, "Thank you for doing that." So like, yeah, I've never talked about that on stream before, I don't think. But yes, I literally had someone in my family, blood related to me, who died of HIV. I just didn't know him because he died before I was born. But yeah, gay uncle. Yeah, and to be clear, this is not all the ones who got HIV. This is just the ones who died. So like, there are people who caught HIV back then, and then they managed to like live and be fine now, you know. AIDS knowledge was so hidden that people thought you could get it from shaking hands. Yeah, my dad told me that the fear-mongering used to be crazy on like how oh, it's so easy to contract HIV/AIDS. Oh, you can't even touch a gay person. Not to mention that advanced forms of HIV/AIDS, like, I mean, when AIDS, because AIDS is like, God, what does it fucking mean? Like, it's like an immune deficiency syndrome. I can't remember what actually it stands for. I feel like a bad queer right now. Yeah, human immunodeficiency virus infection is like HIV, and then acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It's the immune deficiency syndrome. AIDS, if it's untreated, like, can cause you to have sores on your body. So it's like, people used to think that you could catch HIV from just shaking hands, probably because advanced forms of the virus, you looked like you had a pox, effectively. And then like the kind of medicines that you could take for AIDS would cause you to go blind, which is great. So yeah, this is a community struggle that we've been carrying over for decades, like generations, literally. It's not that the AIDS gives you sores or kills you. It's that you can't defend yourself from other kinds of illness. Yeah, like your skin like is vulnerable to infection because you can't fight it off, right? Also notice how AIDS was treated by the government versus how COVID was. That alone proves it was genocide. Not that they're not doing another genocide now, arguably against disabled people, but yes, that's why when Princess Diana was photographed hugging an AIDS patient, that was a huge deal. Right. Yes. But yeah, they're trying to move us forward into the next stage of genocide. It's happening. If you haven't already started making plans to get the fuck out of the country, you really should. Like, especially if you live in Florida, get out of Florida. Like, point blank period, get out of Florida. Even if you don't get prosecuted as a pedophile for going to the bathroom while trans, you might still get murderated by some dumb fucking hick. John Get Bent, thank you so much for the $5 dono. I really, really, really appreciate it. Sometimes it makes me feel a little bit better going over difficult things when I get a dono in the middle of it. I'm like, okay, well, the world's not too bad, I guess. I also remembered recently reading about the police wearing rubber gloves to raid a gay bar where Paul O'Grady was performing. My family's attitude toward me suddenly starts to make more sense. Christ. Like, yeah, the rar after dumb fuck hick, yeah. All right, cool. Gonna set up an appointment soon so that I can get my paperwork in order. Fuck this country. I'm gonna peace out. Truly, the problem with telling people to get out of Florida is that a lot of people can't afford it. We need to start organizations and resources to help LGBT people move out of these terrible states. Yeah, no, we are starting to see. I know that Erin Reed, who we get a lot of information from Erin Reed about this subject. She's been working with families, getting them out of Florida. I am working with some folks in a little group that we're, calling the Rainbow Passage, where I'm going to be trying to help in any way that I can, in the limited capacity that I can, relocating people out of those states. Like, when I'm saying, like, get out of there, I'm saying, like, by any means necessary. I mean, like, sell every piece of furniture that you have. Like, everything that you have, you will need to pay to move to a new place. So when I'm saying get out of Florida, I don't mean like, oh, take everything you own and put it tidily into a U-Haul that you can afford and go to a state that's where things are way more expensive. No, I mean, like, sell everything that you own if needs be. You are a refugee now. I'm not saying it's a cute move across the country because you're trying to seek new opportunities in the land of promise. No, you're a refugee fleeing political persecution. It's not going to be cute. It's not going to be easy. I'm saying you're fleeing the country or you're fleeing the state. Learn how to hop freight trains, says Icalo. Max, thank you so much for the $30 dono. Stay safe. It's getting scary. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's I don't feel good being like the doomer. I don't feel like good about fear-mongering or whatever. I'm saying you're potentially your life is in danger, and I'm not fucking around with that. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that shit. Have you mentioned Florida has a travel advisory? They're literally telling people to flee Florida because of how bad it is there. Are you talking about this Florida Equality Florida thing? This like travel advisory from Equality Florida saying don't even travel to the state. Get a bit of Bitcoin on a cold wallet. I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know if I can even remotely afford a Bitcoin or even half of a Bitcoin. I'll do anything to help you with your Rainbow Passage. I'm an artist. I can make logos. I can do web design and programming. Yeah, Rotsoy, are you in our Discord server? Because I work with this other streamer sometimes, and he might be able to, Discord is where we're starting organization of this process and like taking volunteers and stuff for it. I don't know a lot of the details of how it's being run. The meetings that they have are on Sundays during my stream time, so I can't like participate. I have to read the minutes of the meeting after it's done. But I will let Rev know that there are more people interested and see what we can do to make this more like, people who want to help can offer some volunteering. Because they've successfully relocated one person. We just successfully relocated one person. So I'll let Rev know that there's some folks in my chat who are interested, and I'll try to have that information for you guys. Yeah, talk to Rev about volunteers. Okay, cool. Yeah, because he just got in touch with me again a couple days ago, and I need to message him back. So I'll let him know that there's more people interested. But, like, everyone get a Cash App card ASAP? Is there a thing? Is there a, like, Cash App security aspect to it? Are you saying, like, to move your money into a Cash App account instead of a bank so that your assets can't be frozen as easily or something? I don't know. There's a known femboy streamer on Twitch who insists on moving from Iowa to Florida. We've been trying to get her not to do it. What do you think is the best way to convince her not to? I mean, this femboy streamer is going to get hate crimed. I don't think there's anything you can do if they're convinced to move to Florida. It's a debit card and we can send people money. I have a Cash App, but I don't have a Cash App card. What's up, Morgan? I'm in Florida, but I can't leave for a month. I think if you're only going to be there for another month, that's fine. Obviously, you're gonna have to take some time to get your new apartment set up in a new place or whatever. Renting a bus and going through Florida picking up trans people. Yeah, I personally know, one family with cisgender children and trans parents who live in Florida, and I know someone else who doesn't have kids, is trans and lives in Florida, and it's like, I have so much anxiety for them. I really think it's a horrible idea and she's playing with lava. I mean, yeah, I think it's a terrible idea, but I think that if you are aware of all the things going on in Florida and you still think I'm gonna go ahead and move there, like, I don't know, maybe she has a death wish. Oh, that's awesome, Violet. Currently working with other Canadians to make Canada a designated refugee country for those fleeing USA, but still waiting for them to make it official. Yeah, it's tricky because supposedly, part of the immigration process for refugee status is like, if there are other safe places in your, if there are other safe places in your country, like, for example, California is a sanctuary state, or I think it is. Minnesota is trying to become a sanctuary state. So if you live in Florida where they're making things incredibly unsafe, you could technically go to Minnesota instead of Canada. And so that is, as I understand it, one of the restricting factors for being able to go to Canada as a refugee. They might not want to amend that, even though it could become dangerous at the federal level as well relatively soon. But yeah, like Beth Harp is saying, come to the PNW. I know it's friendly there and that there are fewer unsafe things happening there, but it is still in the hellhole country of the United States. I think there are like 6 refugee states right now. Yeah. Oregon and Washington will never go red and won't comply with federal. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do when the National Guard comes in and starts like enforcing federal law on you. I don't know what you're gonna do. But you're correct. If you're in the PNW, it is easy to get to Canada. That's my general idea. I live in Kansas, and I have teenagers that I need to get in my custody, and then we have to start trying to save up money to move to Seattle. And then we have to see about moving to Canada if Seattle is not far enough, like if it's not safe enough. Tacoma, Seattle, yeah, that kind of area. My friend is moving to Florida next month, and I'm scared because I'm obviously going to want to visit her. My anxiety is much higher now that I know this. Yes, that was a How I Met Your Mother joke. Skylar, your friend is going to have to come visit you. It's not even safe for you as a trans person to visit Florida. I know you're pre-everything, Skylar, but like, it's not safe for you as a trans person to visit Florida even. Don't even visit there. And if she is annoyed about the fact that she always has to fly out and see you, tell her it's her fault for moving to psycho country. Florida is making a private army. They're also, do I not have a link for that? I don't think I have a link for that. PNW is expensive, unfortunately. That's why my Polycules plan is to move to Colorado. Later, Violet. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, what's the private army? Yes. And in the midst of everything else, I hadn't talked about this on stream before because it got lost in all the rest of the news, but the $10 million for Florida's private army raising questions. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is requesting $98 million in funding this year to boost the Florida State Guard, which one critic has branded a private army. DeSantis revived the Florida State Guard, which was originally created for home defense during World War II in 2022, and is now seeking to expand it from 400 soldiers to 1,500, saying it is needed to help with emergency response measures and to back up the Florida National Guard. Unlike the Florida National Guard, however, which can be pulled up by the president, the State Guard cannot. So he is just, just let me tuck that in. Let me just tuck that in at the end of this video about all this other shit, is that, like, he's gonna have a private army. The private army is gonna be policing the bathrooms. They're gonna be, like, accosting people on the street who are trying to go into the bathroom. He's setting up his own SS. He's setting up his own private military. Like, this is terrifying. People don't understand. This is dragging people from their home shit. People don't get that, like, this is where we are with this right now. There is nothing we can meaningfully do if he gets 1,500 soldiers under his personal direction. Do we have 1,500 people who have guns and are willing to go toe-to-toe with a private army? Do we have that? Do you think we have that? Or do you think that it's better to get the fuck out of here? The real National Guard needs to shut down the fake National Guard. Yeah, and then that's the coup. Like, yes, that is inevitably where this leads. Is like, okay, you as a governor are trying to establish enough power to take over the government. And then the actual government is going to be like, and you're, you can't do that. Oh, no. And then they're going to come down to Florida and say, hey, we're the National Guard and we think you're not allowed to have a private army. And they're going to say, and? Like, how do people think this is going to go down? Badly is the answer. Christ. That was basically it on the segment. This is grim, but 60,000 Jews in Poland fought against the Germans after the Germans had taken over. They killed a few hundred soldiers, helped out for a few weeks, and were all exterminated. How do you do that? Like 60,000 Jews. Did they send in more Germans? And then they were like, nah. This is literally The Boys. I haven't seen The Boys. But yeah, you should be very aware of what's going on. The real National Guard has better stuff. I don't know, with the militarization of the... Oh, the Germans were an army versus the Jews were poor and starving. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of numbers if you don't have guns. Well, yeah, but with the militarization of the police everywhere, like, police just have tanks now, right? Like, does the National Guard have tanks? Because the police do. Wasn't this Florida Army thing a while ago? Well, they started talking about it in 2021, and then he actually reinstated the Florida State Guard in 2022. They were talking about it a couple years ago, and then they actually opened it back up. There are currently 400 soldiers. Like, to be clear, there are currently at this moment 400 soldiers in the private army of Ron DeSantis as of last year, and they're just seeking funding to expand it. He already has the private army. To be clear, the private army is already in existence. What really scares me about living in Florida is anyone can have a gun on their person anytime legally. What's up, happy slave? I'm glad that you are happy, and I hope that you're enjoying being a slave. I'm planning on having my sibling, they're trans and a minor who lives in Florida, move in with me at this point. Andre, yeah, I am looking into... This is something that we potentially are going to maybe talk about more as a community, is like fostering younger trans people, you know? Like, I actually think it might be a good idea to try to encourage more trans people who have space in their homes to apply to become foster parents so that, you know, we can provide homes for those kids when they need to get the fuck out of these places. Like, if a kid gets kicked out of their home because they're trans, they need somewhere to go. And it's better for more trans people to be part of the foster system so that it's less likely that this kid goes to a foster parent who's creepily religiously motivated and wants to force them to cut their hair and stuff. And so I want to say, Andre, I want you to know you will need to apply to be a foster parent potentially if you are going to do the fostering route. You know, if you can just transfer custody, and that's fine, whatever. But like, if you do get involved with the foster system in that way, you still have to take all the classes to become a foster parent, you know, even if you're just doing a kinship fostering. So how are we supposed to move if selling everything doesn't even cover first and last rent in Washington or any other sanctuary state? Get in touch with Aaron Reed on Twitter, and I am going to continue. I'm going to like see what kind of, you know, can we build a website or something? Like what are we going to do with the Rainbow Passage as far as making it to where that people have resources? Yeah, no worries, James. We need a website. I just don't know how formal they want to be, because I know that they're working on increasing security, you know, because you don't want to potentially get caught up in like child trafficking laws or something, you know. You don't want to be accused of kidnapping a child across state lines. That's really not optimal. I know I joke, but I have a huge basement that I don't use. Potentially apply to be a foster parent. See if there's anything you can do. Since I live in Oregon, I'll look into all the specifics. Yeah, there are temporary resources. Minnesota is very cheap. Yeah, Minnesota is a less expensive place to live. There are going to be people who are going to be opening up their homes more. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, becoming a refugee is not a cute situation. But Pennsylvania is, I know that Rainbow Passage there's some people who are there who are based in Pennsylvania, and so they're trying to get queer people up there. Pennsylvania is obviously not crazy expensive, and that gets you closer to a group of people who can then collectively act, you know. It's acutely distressing. Yeah, I mean, it's really not good. Yeah, and true. If you don't apply for fostership and you do have the room, you can still offer space in your home for adult refugees and refugee families. I just noticed that we're at 169 on your dono bar. The Lux Nation is called the Hordes, because I'm the dragon. Where are my horns? I'm wearing a hat today. Dragon. So I'm a dragon and you're my horde. Oh, here we go. Okay, let me get my hair out of here. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Now I have horns. Yes. We got to $169 on the donos today. So this is the reward for that, I guess. This is horny stream time. Horny stream. What's up, Guitar Rocker? How you doing? Horties sounds like slang for hoarders. Well, too bad. Loktar Ogar. Zug zug. Zug zug. I don't think it looks as good with my hair parted on the other side. If you find a way to sell smaller horns as merch, I think that would sell. Yes, but I didn't design these, and I'm not allowed to sell them like that. Like, someone else designed this, and so it was free for me to print on my 3D printer for my personal use, but it's not free to sell them. You know, I would need to buy the rights to, because I don't 3D model. No smaller ones. We can't, yeah. We can't have horns bigger than the dragon. But I would still have to pay someone for a license to sell smaller horns. That's not a bad idea, though. That would be good merch. The Horties have horns. Yes. You should see about making a deal with the maker to make dragon stubs as merch. Maybe. Horny Horties. You could be a 3D model, TBH. Thank you. Have it as a Patreon goal. Y'all, I don't have merch because merch is very difficult to do in an ethical manner. Do y'all have any protest ideas for when I go to the Florida House and Senate sessions? Oh, man. I don't know. I would say, I mean, like, where, you know, put whatever you want on the sign, I guess. And, you know, leave your phone at home. Wait, why merch bad? It's hard to get merch where it's not being made by slaves in China, y'all. I would prefer not to sell stuff that's been made by slaves in China. I feel like the rain here picked up as the topic got more doomer. I want it to rain. I want it to rain. I miss rain. Spring is so late here. I know I gotta hit you up on the Discord, but I'm a graphic designer and I would love to help you with t-shirt and merch, etc. I'm working on my portfolio, so I'm willing to work for free or reduced price. Yeah, I guess show me your work. I don't know if I'm in the market exactly for doing that. Well, I will need to start improving the stuff on the website this year probably, but I also owe $2,000 in taxes. I miss the cold. Someday we're all gonna say that. Someday we're all gonna be like, I miss the cold. Like, I miss snow. They can tell you were there with your phone. Yeah, leave your phone at home. Cover up your tattoos. Try to cover your face, right? So apparently Florida is trying to classify trans people as pedos or something. Yeah, so Emily, to, like, long story short, because we're already basically done with that segment, Florida is trying to pass a law that's going to make it so that child sex assault is punishable by a death sentence, while at the same time increasingly accusing trans people of being predators toward children, you know, making drag shows severely curtailed and things like this. Like, yeah. And then at the same time, trying to amass a private army in Florida. And so, yes, this is stage 9. We're entering stage 9 where they're trying to kill us. I've been thinking about getting a No Cops at Pride banner and using it with some friends to lasso the cops section out of the Pride parade. Probably get arrested, but I think it'd be a strong statement. Yeah. It's gonna be a weird time. Tax evasion era. No tax evasion. No. We're starting to get more sunny days and I'm dreading summer. I'm enjoying the rain today. It was like 80 degrees in Kansas last week. And it's going to be so fucking hot this summer. And I'm so not excited. I try not to go doomer mode, though, since anti-trans legislation is losing across the country of late. It's not the legislation part, Emily. Like, did you hear what was happening in Florida? This is what's happened across the states everywhere. Is like in Florida, they have anti-trans legislation that's being filibustered by a couple of senators who really care about trans people in their districts. And so because it's being held up, the legislative process where we're supposed to, we vote for a representative, the representative goes and does what we want them to do. That's the process of democratic governorship. The Attorney General issued an emergency rule which states that in order to start hormones, you have to have an autism assessment, and you can't get hormones if you are autistic. You have to have therapy to resolve any other health issues like depression or an eating disorder. You're also required to do 15 sessions of therapy across no fewer than 18 months. And the purpose of that therapy is to explore potential reasons why you might be trans. So, like, they went outside of the legislative process and just declared. That's what I'm saying, Emily, is like that. This is in Missouri, is like, you can't say, oh, I'm not going doomer because anti-trans legislation is losing across the country. Because the thing about fascism is that it doesn't matter that the legislative process is stopping the laws from passing, because they're using executive branch discretion to supersede that. So, like, if Ron DeSantis or Trump become president, even if it's very narrow in the Congress, yeah, the Nazis never won a majority in Germany. Yeah. If it's very narrow in the Congress, did you mean to submit Drawfee? I think the Drawfee was an accident, and it turned into one horrendous link that doesn't work. Nice though, nice reference. I'd love to keep discussing this, but I have to go. I'm about to go see the Mario movie. Yeah, I'm just letting you know, TLDR, that's what you missed in the stream earlier, Emily, is like, yeah, it's not about whether they're going to win in the legislation, because they don't need to win. They don't need your permission to take over the government. They're just going to take over it anyway. In 1994 Rwanda, the Hutus ignored the Tutsi army that was taking over the country in order to continue their genocide instead. Oh, the reason that he's... Wait, did I not go into the reason that he's giving? What was that? Because I did open your Reuters one. What did he say? I don't see what you're talking about in here, Drums. When you're saying, like, the reason that Ron DeSantis is giving for this death penalty thing, I don't see a quote from him in this article. Anyway, is the part from the stream earlier going to be a video? I missed most of it. Yeah, the Florida genocide thing is definitely going to be a video on the channel, I just, like, shut down. You need an autism diagnosis before getting assessment for being trans? No. You need an autism assessment before getting treatment for gender dysphoria. But if your autism assessment says you are autistic, you can't get transition treatment. Is how they're going to do this in Missouri. If you're autistic, you are automatically considered disqualified. The percentage of autistic people who are trans is apparently much higher than among neurotypicals. The percentage of autistic people with eating disorders are much higher too, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, that's the point, Margaret, is that if many autistic people are trans, then you basically reduce the number of trans people who can transition by a lot if you remove autistic people from that pool. So they're getting as close to a blanket ban as possible. Like the idea that your depression and anxiety needs to be resolved before you can get gender dysphoria, as though your depression and anxiety are probably not in large part being caused or if not caused, then definitely worsened by your gender dysphoria. But you have to have 3 years from the time that you are first diagnosed to the time that they will let you start hormones, even if if you start having gender dysphoria and you see a doctor and they say, yes, you do have it, and then you do the therapy like you're supposed to do for 18 months, you still have to wait another 1.5 years before you're allowed to start hormones. Even if you do the exploratory therapy confirming that you don't have another reason for being trans. Everybody knows that you can't have two things going on at the same time. When I was diagnosed with ADHD, I grew back both of my legs. I know. You can't be more than one thing. There are studies that have linked neurodiversity and the trans community. It's still being studied at the moment. I think there's only like one study, so it's not yet facts. It's basically like there is a demonstrable overlap between trans people and autistic people. There is a huge overlap, and like we don't know why that is yet. We're still looking into the why, but the objective fact is that there are a bunch of trans people who are autistic, and that many autistic people are also trans. Like there are more autistic people who are trans per capita than there are allistic people who are trans. Do you know what I mean? So Amsterdam, Canada too. Anywhere else? I've never considered moving to Amsterdam, Netherlands and Canada. I'm going to look into Canada first and then maybe move to Europe someday later if it's nice, but depends. Florida currently requires a unanimous vote to sentence someone to death, and DeSantis wants to make it a vote of 8-4. Yeah, I saw that part. A lot of that sounds like the crap that trans people have to go through in Germany for medical/legal transition anyway, the waiting periods and that nonsense. Yeah, Europe is not trans friendly. It's like if I could find a place in Europe that was trans friendly enough and also was a walkable city, then maybe that could be good. Gender affirming care is massively gatekept in Europe. If you're American and you've already been on the care for a long time, do you have to go through that same process? Or is it just like, can you maintain this prescription that I've been on for the last 10 years kind of situation? England is not trans-friendly right now. Scotland is somewhat trans-friendly. You have to redo it all? Fuck that. Are you fucking kidding me? That's so fucking stupid. LGBT rights in the Netherlands. Are the Netherlands good? Ooh, okay. LGBT rights in the Netherlands rank among the highest in the world. Same-sex sexual activity was legalized in 1811. An age of consent equal with that of heterosexual activity was put in place in 1971. That's pretty important. It looks like they've been ahead of things for a while. So yeah, the Netherlands. That's where I vote. I vote that we take over the Netherlands. The Netherlands is going to be the place that we go to. We're just going to make the Netherlands the gayest country on earth. It's the thing that Mia talked about in her video, where unless you're willing to persist through layers of pure BS, they conclude that you're not really trans after all. Yeah, I remember her talking about how difficult it was. As a Dutchman, I support this. We're taking over. The quote, free healthcare systems in a lot of Europe seem to be super AGP bent for trans women, like a prove it system. Dutch-American friendship? Wait, what? The Dutch-American Friendship Treaty is an agreement between the United States and the Netherlands established on my birthday, 1956. The treaty allows U.S. entrepreneurs and freelancers to acquire Dutch residency for the purpose of, quote, starting a business. With this Netherlands visa, USA citizens can easily relocate to the Netherlands. You can start a brick-and-mortar business selling a product or service, or you can work in the Netherlands as a freelancer or a digital nomad. Yo! Yo, that's for me though, right? That's for me, Mia money needing a lot now. Like, it seems like a high success rate. Does this work for me? I'm a freelancer. I'm a digital nomad. Can I work there? Can I be there? Can I live there? I want to be there. I want to live there. That's the Luxander can go there act. Yeah, truly. I'm not getting my hopes up, y'all. I'm like, the excitement here is I'm assuming that this isn't actually, it should work for you if you have 4,500 euros. How long is it going to take me to get that? How many euros is pounds? Hold on. How many dollars is this many euro? Yeah, it's about $5,000. I could GoFund me that, you know? I could GoFund me that amount of money. 400, yeah, no, sorry, 4,500 euro is like almost $5,000. It's not quite as disparate. Yep. The Netherlands has so many leftist issues to talk about too. It's made for you. Really? Cost of living in the Netherlands is probably higher than where you are now. Yeah, I bet the cost of living is higher in the Netherlands. You know what else is better? You know what else is higher in the Netherlands? The quality of healthcare that I would be able to have access to. I bet the cost of living in the Netherlands is higher. Do you know why? Because they have healthcare. 4K is expensive though. I mean, I would say if you're applying to live in a country, $4,000 as part of your moving expenses to another country, not that bad. I was too young to enjoy the red light district, but my folks were cool enough to walk me through that neighborhood. My heart yearns to return. I've never been to anywhere in Europe. I would love to visit those places, but COVID. Pepper spray is legal in the Netherlands, but every other self-defense item sadly isn't. Well, that's cool. That means that people don't really have guns there, and I won't need a gun to protect myself from a person with a gun. Oh, it could be a business expense. Oh, that's a good point. You know what's fucked up is that I would have to still pay taxes as an American unless I renounced my citizenship. Did you know that? If you're an American and you move to another country and you're like living in that other country, you still owe income tax to the United States unless you renounce your citizenship. So yeah, so yeah, you mentioned that. Yes, thank you. You mentioned the business expense, and then it made me think about taxes because that's the point that you were getting at, Anansi. Yes, thank you. That is an interesting point, though. I guess I could say that is for work, that I'm going there for work, but it's like, it's not as though I can't do my job here, so I don't know. Do it, burn your social security card and never look back. I mean, I'm considering it. Later on, I don't know that I won't renounce my U.S. citizenship. If I live somewhere that's better than this, and it's like good and it's working, yes, work requires you to not be genocided. That's true. I went to Greece like 5 years ago with my mom, and people on the islands kept asking if we were Dutch. I was super confused until I had the layover, and they totally have a Minnesota accent. That's funny. Talk to a tax preparer about if living there counts as a business expense too. Your home is your office. Well, Anansi, the way that it works on taxes is that because I also sit here, this is my regular computer. Like, I play games here. My home office, according to the American tax system, can only be written off if this area is exclusively for work. Like, if I had a studio room and I only went in there to work and then I came out, but if I sit here and I play video games and I use this to talk to my friends and stuff, like, I can't write this off as a business expense because it's not a dedicated space, which is fucking stupid. Anyone in Canada want to marry me? Yeah, I just got to get divorced so that I can get married to a Canadian citizen. Too poor to afford an office? Pay more in taxes. Exactly. Excuse me. Huh, a building might have just caught fire next to us. Holy shit. Don't just sit there. Oh my god. I'm unmarried. Canadians DM me. You know? The possibilities are endless. Jiminy Christmas. My hair kind of looks like shit right now. It's not a good look. Pointing out to write off all that you can, every single bit. Right. Yeah, I'm working on it. I really am starting to get to that point as a self-employed person. It's like, do I need to have a tax person, you know? Can I afford to pay a tax person, like an accountant, all year? Like, I know someone who's a photographer who has an accountant, and I'm like, I don't actually know if that's better than just having Free Tax USA. Yeah, I don't want these on anymore. Just a little bit of a headache from having the horns on. I disagree, your hair looks great. It was just stuck under the band in a weird way. Hurons. Drink water. H&R Block charges like 100 to 200. Yeah, I meant more like, I was thinking about hiring an accountant, like an individual who works at like a smaller company instead of fucking H&R Block. Like a personalized individual ideally in the local community. If the law in the US is anything like Sweden, you don't need a dedicated office. You can just calculate a percentage of your living space that's dedicated to work. Well, but yeah, but I've looked into this. It has to be, you can't use the space for any other purpose, you know? Like, you know, I have the beanbag chair and the pillow there. You have to use, like, because of the fact that I sit there and relax, the US tax code says, like, you can't write it off if you use the space for anything else other than work. And that's, like, I just was looking it up. Yeah, if I had a work computer and then a separate, like, gaming computer, and I had 2 separate desks. But if I sit here and I play Doctor Who, or like I watch a video game, or I watch Doctor Who and play a video game at the same time, offline, technically I could be audited for that, right? Somebody tell the IRS to not let Elon write off his office expenses since he lives there, apparently. That's too funny. They don't see you not working. Yeah, but I've seen crazy shit. The US government is crazy if it thinks that you're screwing them over. When I was applying to work for the United States Postal Service, they were telling us about, you know, oh, we have great disability benefits and stuff. So if you become disabled on the job, then it'll be fine because of the union. However, we employ people whose entire job it is to, like, scope out your house and watch you to check and see if you're performing physical actions at your home that could be construed as thinking like maybe you are physically able to work. I've seen some crazy shit. Get all you can from both angles. Yeah. You know how you can get your hair cut for cheap at a barber school? Can you get your accounting done for cheap by someone at accounting school? I would trust Free Tax USA more than I would trust an accounting student. But that's not a bad idea. I know that there are, like, dental schools. They're crazy if they think you're screwing them over and you're poor. I know, it sounds insane, right? But also, it was shown, like, last year, there were way more audits done of people who were too poor to be fucking audited. My best friend has a similar thing where they categorize them as part-time workers so they don't have to pay them for home office gear. Right. This is the tax conversation is where I'm running into the black pill right now. It's like, oh, it's been obvious that this tax situation hasn't been working for years and we're all getting fucked and we're not getting anything out of it. Like, our military budget is trillions of dollars or whatever, but they can't afford to feed kids school lunches, apparently. Buy a used Intro to Accounting textbook. Okay. Good idea. I bet there's some stuff that I could learn. And I could for sure write that off as a business expense. I can get insurance from my work, but they will still charge me copays for medications. If it were up to me, medications should be free, especially if it costs even more to freak out and have maybe a 2-week hospital stay, at least for psychosis. I mean, yeah, and that's another thing. I would love to have health insurance. Like, I have no, like, how much does it cost to get self-employed health insurance? I wonder how much it's gonna cost. Average monthly premiums for individual covers. Wait. That's for ACA. Okay, so for ACA compliant plans, average monthly premiums for an individual coverage is $484. So if I just got insurance from myself, it would be $500 a month. This is a good reminder to file my taxes. Yeah, you only have until like April 17, unless you get an extension. I shit you not, I get paid $914 a month on disability. My rent is $795. I juggle the rest of my life. Do you get SNAP? Like, do you at least have SNAP as well as disability? Or when you get one, are you not allowed to get the other? Not counting your co-payments. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly, Shade. That $500 a month not only does it not count co-payments, but it also doesn't count the deductible. Which, like, you know, I'm going to pay you $500 a month, and then I'm still going to have to pay $9,000 out of pocket before the plan will even kick in. Like, fuck you. What a scam. And it's never going to get better. Can you please just... No, that's not what I wanted. Do you ever find yourself thinking... Do you ever just find yourself thinking... Also, I've been curious, do you know about anonymous LLCs? They can help you with things like not getting doxxed. Plus, you can be anywhere in the world, to my knowledge, and get it. Only 4 states in the US provide it. I haven't looked into that before, no. I don't have an LLC yet. I don't know. I think it might be better for my taxes if I do incorporate, but I don't know. I don't think much. More fun that way. We don't talk about this movie. I'm not talking about this movie. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it. You know? Okay, I'm gonna dip. Also won't get any sleep tonight. Yeah. I get EBT and that's $95 a month. Wow. I'm like, I get like almost $200 a month on my food stamps. And I barely qualified for food stamps. So that's so weird that other places like offer so little. We have 150 likes on this video. This may very well be the most likes I've ever had on a stream. So thank you. I appreciate you. Luxander Incorporated, LOL, Big Dragon, true. Big Dragon Incorporated. That's a great company name. I used to sell health insurance. That sounds like a fucking nightmare job. I'd strongly advise anonymous LLCs and plan on getting one before I am officially in business. Yeah, I'll look into it for sure, Anansi. You know, those things cost money, but I can also write them off as on my taxes, so that's a really, really good idea. I think Shade was saying goodnight to Not a Mermaid. Yeah. Y'all, I'm sad. I made a sexy video and I was really proud of it and I thought it would pop off, but it's doing worse than most of my content. Aw. Do you do videos a lot, or do you mostly do videos? Or do you mostly do pictures? Because I could see potentially if your audience is just not in the mood to watch videos because they're used to you being pictures only. Whoa. computer decided to like blank out for a second there. That was a little scary. So there was a fire in a shopping cart in a parking garage at the next door apartment building. That's scary. Looks like the fire department has it under control. I mean, that's good, but it's still a little spooky. The fee is about $100 plus the fees in your state. I'm trying to be obscure about some things on purpose in case there are adverse people on here. Yeah, no worries. I've looked into incorporating before. I just was like, I wasn't doing this full time yet when I was looking into getting incorporated. I did like a 20-second GIF, really, the long version I paywalled. Yeah, that's really disappointing though. If you do something and yeah, I mean, I've done that before too, where it's not with my sexy content, but when I'm putting a lot of effort into a video and I'm like, yeah, this one's gonna pop off, and then I upload it and it's like you get the little YouTube notification thing that's like, this video is 9 out of 10 of your previous videos in terms of it's watch time, and I was like, oh no, it doesn't feel good. Oh no. The channel's doing really well this month, so I'm not gonna bitch too much personally. Like the simple, like I realized like, okay, I only made $15,000 last year as a streamer, but like I made $15,000 as a streamer, and now I owe $2,000 in taxes. But hey, that was like pretty solid. I was able to move into my own place after like issues with my partner, and so that felt really good, like not being trapped and unable to leave a situation, you know. I'm doing pretty well. We're doing okay. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Okay? Everything is okay. Oh gosh, do we have anything else for today? I feel like I got most of it. I kind of like forgot about Keffels for a few weeks there, and then I remembered them yesterday and was like, oh, I hope Keffels is doing okay. Kiffles. That's a lot of money for streaming. Like, it's real money. I definitely couldn't make that kind of cash doing streaming. Yeah, I mean, it's an amount of money that I can afford to live in a place with, even if the taxes do reduce. Like, functionally, I only made $13,000 last year, but still, you know, that's like a little over $1,000 a month or whatever to live on. Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot else today. Just shooting the shit. Just time to shoot the shit a little bit. Me too. I work in rehab, so I've seen some of the transformations people go through, and I've seen folks fall off the wagon. All the best to her. Right. You made so little that I'm surprised you had to file taxes. Yeah, I'm self-employed, so I didn't pay any taxes while I was working last year, and I owe twice as many taxes because normally my employer would be paying part of that. You know? Like, legally, your employer is required to pay half of your Social Security tax and half of your Medicare tax, but I don't have an employer, so I owe 100% of those taxes instead of only 50% of them. You shouldn't owe taxes. I made twice as much more than you did and didn't get much back, but I did get something. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping next year should be better, but I am going to owe every year, you know, even if I pay throughout the year, like I'm, you know, which is ideally what I should have been doing, but I don't know that I would have been able to move out if I was, if it were me, I'd have assumed that since it was so low, I wasn't supposed to pay any taxes. Yeah. Later on, Nancy. Yes, much love. Hope that you're well. Good luck with whatever you're working on today. So, yep. I'm gonna always have to pay taxes. Even though my partner makes, like, a lot of money compared to me, and he pays taxes throughout the year. Like, if we stay married and we continue filing taxes together, I might have to tell him, like, you might want to voluntarily pay a little bit extra each month in taxes, because otherwise, like, we might owe every year at the tax return time. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with that. And, like, again, it would be a lot easier for me to take custody of the teenagers that I'm related to if I had, like, another person's income, but may or may not have that when the time comes. We'll see. Okay. I had a split end. I had to get it out of there. Look up the cheese tax from Puppy Songs on TikTok. It's so hard to find anything through searching on TikTok. I think in Canada, if you make less than $19,000, you get all the taxes you pay back, but that would be from a T4 and not whatever Canadian equivalent of a 1099 is. I'm basically just accepting that if I don't submit to wage slavery, then I basically am going to have to pay a penalty for being self-employed. And so that's like what my future is going to look like for so long as I pay United States taxes. Because I like being self-employed. I really do. I could do something like work for a place like the Young Turks. I'm not saying I would work for the Young Turks, but I'm just saying my media experience does mean that I could be a journalist at a place and they would pay part of my taxes, just like, you know, I am owing all of those taxes. But I don't know. I really like being self-employed and being able to, like, I wake up in the morning and I usually just spend like an hour reading the news and like chilling. Just incorporate in Switzerland, no taxes. I know that there's a way for me to pay taxes throughout the year as a self-employed person, and I will have to try to set that up this year. I just didn't last year because I wasn't making very much money. I didn't know how much I was going to end up making. I did not expect that I was going to be moving out. Like that just kind of was decided in August. So I was not really planning on becoming a self-employed person who didn't have a partner to help them financially anymore. I also pay a bit extra every month to cover my ass so it doesn't hit as hard at tax time. Yeah, I think if I had made the same amount of money, I don't think we would have gotten... No, yeah, we would have gotten a return if it wasn't for me being self-employed. If I had made zero money last year, we would actually owe less in taxes. Like, if my partner had 100% supported my existence last year, we would have been getting like $1,200 back right now instead of owing $2,000. It's fucking so crazy. Oh, God. Anyway. Oh. I don't have any idea who this cat is, but I'm just going to share this with you. What happened to them? We separated. We're still married, and we're trying to figure that out, but we separated. Kitty, I know. What a good baby. You gotta cleanse the timeline once in a while. I've been off Twitter lately. Like, I took Twitter off my phone. And yeah, you can link a picture of the kitty. Yeah, for sure. I took Twitter off my phone so that that's not the first thing I do every fucking day. And so I don't know, so I'm just not on Twitter as much. Even on my computer, I'm not on Twitter as much. I'm like on Reddit a little bit more, and that means that I'm getting some timeline cleanse, which is nice. Oh my God, your kitty has vitiligo. Oh my God, it's so cute. What an adorable face. Oh my God, that's perfect. And those eyes, those blue eyes. Oh my gosh. Can I deduct losses from my apartment flooding? I don't actually know. I feel like you should be able to. I feel like you shouldn't. Well, you had losses from your apartment flooding. That's what apartment insurance is for, right? Can I deduct? Yeah, this is taxes stream now. Taxes, so fun. 156 likes on the taxes stream. Oh. Ugh. Have you made it to r/196 yet? Oh no, what is that? I don't know what that is. No, I haven't gotten there. Mostly it's like, am I the asshole? I love am I the asshole posts. Those are always so fun. Oh God. r/196 is a good place, is it? Are you lying to me? Interesting. Oh, cool. I like it how in 196, I don't know what this is about at all, but the pinned post is official government petition to allow trans and non-binary people the right to asylum in Canada. So I've never seen this subreddit before, but it's neat. Maybe I'll go ahead and join this subreddit so that I have it in my feed later. My roomies handled the renter's insurance. I'm getting my own for my new place, though. Well, just because the renter's insurance is in your roommate's name, you should still be able to make a claim, because it's supposed to cover everyone who lives there. And like, renter's insurance even covers visitors. Like, if you have a visitor who gets injured, your renter's insurance should cover them. So you should still be able to submit a claim for any of your losses. Like, the renter's insurance is not just for the person who filed it. It's a meme sub, a very trans meme sub. Okay, well, that's good. Nothing good on the front page of Reddit right this moment. That's okay, though. Okay, y'all. It's been almost 4 hours. We've been going. There's 153,267 signatures on the petition. How many signatures does it need to have before anybody cares? Like, how many signatures does this need to have before the government, like, is required to respond or whatever? It's not going to close for signature until May 26th. Yeah. 153,267 signatures. Infinite. They will not care about petitions unless they want to. Yeah, they don't actually care. I don't think. Anyway, okay, so my little throat is sore and from talking so much, and it's time for me to eat lunch. So I'm going to go eat. And I will see you all on Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday, innit? All right, be good. Behave, or at least don't get caught. We'll see you later.